offseason can be coached into the playoffs. Don Whitman and James Curry will describe the proceedings at Skydome today. Don, the next 3 hours will give us an idea as to whether the coaching change has the desired effect, but certainly seems to be a different atmosphere around here.
The attitude at Argo practices this past week certainly much more upbeat, and I think the player who is going to benefit most from the coaching change is the man that the Argos have to have holding a hot hand if they're going to be successful over the second half of the season, and that's quarterback Kent Austin. Bob Obilovich is going to let Austin call all his own plays. That was not the case under the previous coach, Mike Faragelli. Obilovich in the past has called plays for his quarterback, but he is giving a free hand to Kent Austin. Whether that continues over the balance of the season will probably depend on how Austin fares today against San Antonio.
James, the San Antonio Texans were the CFL's inaugural expansion franchise when they came into the league 3 years ago as the Sacramento Gold Miners. So now being in their third season and with a record of 500, do you call that progress?
I think it's a lot of progress for San Antonio, Scott. They've really upgraded the talent on the team. Quarterback David Archer's been blessed with a new group of receivers, but he has a trio in his backfield that's probably second to none in running backs in the CFL with talent. Dave Harper's really improved the play on the defensive side of the ball. They really had problems at linebacker. He stepped up and become the leader of that defense, and he spearheaded that attack, and they have him 500 the midway point of the season.
And James, like Don, are you expecting the Argo offense to be wide open today?
It's an offense that's been said it would be wide open, and hopefully with quarterback Kent Austin, who has struggled for the most part this season, can get things on track.
All right, David Archer, a quarterback for San Antonio, one of only 3 quarterbacks in all of football ever to throw for 6,000 yards in a single season. He can still crank it up even if he is off that pace. Here's what's coming up on our BF Goodrich TA halftime. We'll talk to some embarrassed Argos, members of the bomb squad who've been bombing in stadiums all over the land. And we'll go back to Calgary for the story of the Eskimos Stamps Labor Day Classic. With or without Doug Flutie, the Stamps are a force. Hail Jeff Garcia. The gorgeous weather continues in Southern Ontario. Roof is open at the Dome today. It's warm and clear, a made-to-order day for a game at the tail end of the summer. We're happy to have with us for this telecast viewers of KENS TV in San Antonio, Texas, Channel 5 there. Hope you enjoy the game and you don't struggle with Don Whitman's Canadian drawl. Here again are Don and James.
Ago when Kay Stevenson, the head man of the San Antonio Texans, was the head coach just down the QEW, about a 90-minute drive from Toronto. He was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and of course Bob Obilovich is back for his third stint as the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. He originally came to this franchise from Ottawa, where he was an assistant as the head man in 1982, and he's hoping that his return this year will be as successful as his previous comeback when he led the Argos to a 35-26 win over Winnipeg. Norm Casola takes the opening kickoff and is limited to an 8-yard return. Kent Austin will be calling all of his own plays this afternoon, and Austin would certainly like to improve upon those numbers. He's only thrown 8 touchdown passes so far this season. He has a talented group of receivers to work with, and he is working behind an offensive line that features 2 imports, John Terry and Bob Cronenberg. Mike Clemens is probably going to see the ball a lot more in this game. That was the plan of Coach Bob Obilovich. There's a screen on the first play to Fairholm, and Fairholm will take it out to the 38-yard line. The Argos have the benefit of using 3 Canadians at the receiving positions. The Texans have this group along their defensive line. They've had problems at the linebacking position. Morris Miller playing his second game. He's in the middle, and they made a change at safety. Kenny Wilhite is in place of Charles Franks. Austin on second down for Coleman. Incomplete, so it's 2 and out for the Toronto Argonauts as Kent Austin completes his first pass, misses his second of the football game.
Well, with Kent Austin calling his own plays today, he was hoping to get this initial drive of the game and be able to march it downfield and gain some field position to at least get in the field goal range. But Pat Coleman was not able to go up and pull that one in, and it was kind of high. Being only 5'7", he really had to climb that ladder trying to pull that one in.
Terry Baker will be punting to David Lucas and Marcus Gates. Baker came over to the Argos in a trade with the Ottawa Rough Riders on August the 7th. It is taken by Gates, and Gates is surrounded immediately, and he is down at the 47-yard line. A 30-yard kick by Baker and a 5-yard return. David Archer, one of only 3 quarterbacks in the history of the CFL to pass for over 6,000 yards in a season. Doesn't have great numbers either this year, but he feels he is starting to become familiar with his receivers. Along the offensive line, Mike Kislak at center has been with this franchise since they started in Sacramento, and these are the people he'll be working with in the backfield. Troy Mills has been getting the bulk of the work since he returned 2 games ago, and it is expected that Mills and Saunders will be the running back and the fullback in the game this afternoon, with Mills probably doing a little more work than Saunders, although Saunders ranks number 2 in league rushing statistics behind Mike Pringle of Baltimore. The injured Toronto player is veteran guard Pierre Vercheville.
Pierre Vercheville, and he's also the long snapper, Don, on the punt team, so that's one player that Toronto really cannot afford to lose early here in the game. And you were talking about Troy Mills, the running back for San Antonio. They feel that he is the quicker of the 2 running backs between he and Saunders. He actually hits the hole much quicker. He's been with this team for the past couple of years. He knows the offensive scheme a little more in depth than what Saunders does.
Well, Mills was in the training camp of the San Francisco 49ers and Arizona Cardinals before he returned to the roster of the San Antonio Texans, and in the 2 games he has played, he has carried 25 times for 110 yards. This would be a big blow for the Argos if Pierre Vercheville is unable to continue, and the way he is limping off, it doesn't appear as though the Western Ontario product is going to be back. We had Coach Don Matthews of the Baltimore Stallions say on Saturday night, when a Canadian team loses an offensive lineman, they have got a problem. When they lose 2, they are in really big trouble. And early in the football game, the Argos lose Pierre Vercheville.
Well, you saw Pierre when he snapped the ball, it seems like he locked that left knee, and what happened, that's where the ACL sometimes comes into play. When that knee gets locked or you possibly tear some cartilage, hopefully it's only cartilage.
David Archer, 6,023 yards in 1993, and he swings it out to Troy Mills, and Mills will get a first down. On the first offensive play of the football game, he takes it inside the Toronto 50, a pickup of 13, and it was Patrick Burke and Tommy Henry who came over to make the tackle. Don't be surprised if the Argos make some changes along their defensive front today, with Leon Hatziano possibly coming out, and the Argos going to a 30 defense with Jermaine Younger moving in alongside Calvin Tiggle. Joe Fuller is a newcomer at a halfback position for Toronto. He was picked up from Shreveport. On first down, the handoff inside, and this is Mills again, and he has another San Antonio first down. Hatziano and Obilovich were there to make the tackle, but not before he picked up 14. So on successive plays with Troy Mills, a pass goes for 13, a run for 14.
Well, what San Antonio is doing here is running that counter where you bring the guard around from the offside and allow Mills to read what the offensive linemen are doing. If you look at that Baltimore game from a week ago that the Argos played, Baltimore had a lot of success on the ground running against this Argo defense. San Antonio looked at those films and felt that they could have the same amount of success versus Argos.
And this is not the way the Argos wanted to start the game. They've lost Vercheville. They may have lost Tiggle as well.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Ford of Canada, makers of the new 1996 Ford Taurus.
I shopped around a lot, and the Honda Accord was one of the cars that I looked at, but I fell in love with the Ford Contour because it's exhilarating to drive. When I say to my family and friends, ooh, it's got a Duratec engine, everybody's like, oh, really? The best kind of driving would be bright sunshine to somewhere fun. With the Contour, it's like, oh, it's only an hour and a half.
Hello, Edmonton Fire Department. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's some work going on in my yard, and there's been an accident. Get someone
That's
over
a
here
report
right
of a
away.
power outage, a possible pipeline explosion, loss of communication.
Can I get confirmation on that address, please? That was 1092.
We're on our way. We're approaching west on 109.
Okay, let's get him on the stretcher. In 1,
Coming in for
2,
landing in
3.
40 seconds.
Call before you dig.
You got Calvin Teagle right here. You'll see him as he starts in the flow. We'll get a shot of it from his set position at linebacker. Calvin last year was the leading tackler in the CFL, and this year he ranked only 19th coming into this game. Jermaine Younger, a rookie out of Utah State, will be filling in for Calvin. If you see Calvin right, he's right here. Watch as he goes across and he plants that left leg right here. He's right behind the running back. You can't see it clearly, but as he clears, it gets buckled underneath of Calvin, and that's where the problem came from with the knee injury.
So with Calvin Teagle going out, he was the Argo MVP last year. That may negate any plans that Obilovich had to go to a 30 defense, because Jermaine Younger is now going to have to come in and play the middle linebacking position.
Led the WAC conference in tackles 2 successive seasons at Utah State. They felt by bringing him in, he had that intensity that they've been lacking on the Argonaut defense, and they felt that he would be that spark plug to get the guys to rally around him.
San Antonio has looked very sharp to start this football game. Successive first downs. Archer with good protection, looking over the middle, incomplete. Kralik is the man he was looking for. Ken Walcott, the safety, and Patrick Burke combined to prevent Kralik from hauling in the pass. Kralik had a game against Edmonton back in the 22nd of July where he hauled in a season-high 13 receptions.
You know, Younger coming into the game, I like that number he's wearing, by the way.
Somebody else used to wear that for the Argos. Refresh my memory, James.
Well, fleeting thoughts.
All I want to know is how you got 4.5 quarterback sacks one game.
I was willing to share.
Archer on second down. This time he's got a receiver, Gamble, wide open, and Gamble takes it down to the 6-yard line. A 29-yard pickup. So it was a gain of 13, then a gain of 14, an incomplete pass, and right back with 29 as the San Antonio Texans have it first and goal from the 7. In contrast to the freedom that quarterback Kent Austin has been given in calling all his own plays, David Archer gets help from the sidelines. Coach Kay Stevenson calls plays for the veteran quarterback. First down play, and Troy Mills is stopped as he hits the 5-yard line. Jeff Cummins, who has been a standout at a defensive end position, and Tony Obilovich playing in his second game for the Argos, were both there on the stop.
Well, Tony Obilovich really coming out of training camp, everyone felt that he was the best performing linebacker that the Argonauts had, but at that time they could not employ 3 Americans in the starting rotation, but last week he got his first shot and he performed well.
On second and goal, Archer is in the shotgun. Archer looks into the end zone, and there's a penalty flag. He was trying to lob it in there for David Gamble, and Patrick Burke is probably going to be called for the interference.
Well, Patrick Burke, 2 out of the past 3 plays has been involved in the play. David Gamble took him deep.
Forward pass interference. Toronto number 19 in the goal area. First down on the 1.
David Gamble had taken him deep to get the ball down to the 5-yard line. David Archer felt that he could come back to that same matchup because Gamble had the size advantage on Burke. Took him into the corner of the end zone. Burke, all he could do was grab a hole. First and goal at the 1 for San Antonio.
Burke made his Argo debut last week in the 41-14 loss to Baltimore. It's first and goal from the 1. Straight ahead for Troy Mills. He's got the touchdown. So the first score of the game goes to the San Antonio Texans as Troy Mills, playing his 3rd game for the team, scores the major.
You know, things don't look too good for the Argonauts early in the game. Watch as the offensive line, this has been a big advantage for the American teams this year in the CFL. They reestablished the line of scrimmage as Mills can just glide right over the top. He's not touched, falling into the end zone for San Antonio's first major of the game. But coming out of that pile, limping was Younger, the middle linebacker filling in for Teagle. They can't afford another loss at that position.
Roland Anderson with the point after, and the San Antonio Texans with 4 minutes and 32 seconds elapsed in the football game of the 7-0 lead. Troy Mills, in this his third game, has now scored 4 touchdowns. Last year, when he returned late in the season, his final 3 games were outstanding.
Well, he's really picked up the offensive tempo here with San Antonio. When he came back in, it wasn't a learning process for him to learn the offense. You see the lead block by Tony Burst right there, who was the starting fullback when Mills came back. But when he came in, it gave him that added dimension in the backfield. You could not key on he or Saunders. Both of them very talented, both rushed for over 1,000 yards last year in the CFL.
He made his return versus Hamilton on August the 3rd. In the final 3 last year, I mentioned those 3 games earlier, he ran for 548 yards. Now, if you could project those totals over a complete season, wow, what a year he'd have. He'd make Mike Pringle think a moment or two about the 2,000-yard total he's aiming for this year.
Well, I'm still waiting on you to put on that statistician hat so you don't have to project. You can just give me the numbers. But an outstanding start for San Antonio in their initial drive of the game, Don, to march it right down against this Argonaut defense, who was ranked 5th in the league coming into this game, and score that touchdown.
Anderson kicking off. On the return, this is Coleman, and Coleman is taken out of bounds as he gets up to the 32-yard line. Pretty good coverage once again by the San Antonio Texans, limiting the kickoff return to 17 yards. Well, Kent Austin knows that he has to get this Argo offense in gear, and he knows there's a little more pressure on his shoulders now that he has been given the freedom of calling his own plays.
Well, they felt that they gave Austin the free rein to call his own plays. Maybe he would revert back to a couple of years ago when he passed for over 6,000 yards while he was in Saskatchewan. He could employ some of the quick reads that he had in those days and get the ball off a lot sooner.
Scott Douglas is in at guard in place of Bercheval. Rob Grifo takes the pass for a first down. And that was bread and butter for Kent Austin when he was in Saskatchewan. Those quick passes to his slots.
Vintage Kent Austin. Ray Elgard made a living along with Jeff Fairholm back in the days of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders with Kent Austin at the helm. Looks to the coverage off, comes back to the right. Rob Grifo running a quick seam route, picking up a first down.
12 yards on the pass from Austin to Rob Grifo. Austin again over the middle for Grifo, and he's a great target. Grifo is the man who grabbed the pass, the second complete to Grifo. He's 6'6", 230 pounds, and that's a 16-yard gain.
Well, coming into the game, Grifo was second on the team in average reception, only behind Paul Masadi, and tied for the team lead in touchdowns with 2.
This is the first time they've been able to get the ball into the hands of the pinball, and he bounces his way up to the 45 of the San Antonio Texans, who lead it by a score of 7-0 with 9:06 remaining in the opening quarter.
Well, the Argonauts felt that they needed to get pinball involved in the game, and when you have a player of his caliber, he can really control a defensive tempo.
I think even you might have had problems stopping in, James. Whoa, the pass was deflected at the line of scrimmage, and one of the San Antonio defensive linemen, I think it might have been Harper, thought he was going to make an interception. It appeared as though either Fears or Sawyer was able to get a hand on the throw. Harper has been the only linebacker who has played all the games this year for San Antonio.
Well, we'll get a great look at it from my end zone camera right here as Austin goes back. Jeff Sawyer gets that right hand up, and as you said, Dave Harper came across, and he's been the leader of the defense, just hustling at all times. Got a hand on that ball and almost able to bring it in, and what a break for the Argonauts not having that one picked off.
Terry Baker's longest field goal of the year, a 39-yarder. This will be a 52-yard attempt out of the hold of Paul Masadi, and it's short. Lucas brings it back to the 20-yard line, and that's where the San Antonio Texans, leading by 7, will scrimmage 1st and 10 with 8:19 remaining in the opening quarter.
G'day, BC. I've come here to Long Beach to teach you guys how to surf. Let's go surfing! It's cold. It's cold. The water's a little chilly. Do I get? I am not worthy. Don't hurry up my date. These guys, they deserve your respect. Bad weather, great surf. No, I am not getting in the water because it's too cold. You're a loser. Trust me, I know.
Coconut, pure refreshing taste, straight from the Kootenays.
Can we afford to?
Can we afford not to? One night.
They will take Visa there, won't they?
Of course.
And how will you be paying, sir?
Visa.
Accepted in twice as many places as American Express. Visa. It's the only card you need.
At just 99 cents or less for 5 minutes anywhere in Alberta, AGT's long-distance prices are at their lowest ever. 99 cents. It's simple to save. And with free air miles, travel miles, AGT long distance goes further than ever. AGT's always had the value. Now it has the price. 99 cents or less for 5 minutes anywhere in Alberta with an AGT savings plan. Evenings and weekends guaranteed. AGT long-distance prices are at their lowest ever in Alberta and Canada. Call us today.
Two very significant losses for the Argonauts in the first 5 minutes of this game. Starting left guard Pierre Vercheval is out with a pulled calf muscle, will not come back, and so is middle linebacker Calvin Tickle out. He has strained his right knee, and neither will he return. So those are two huge losses for the Argos, Don.
Calvin Tickle from Georgia Tech, Pierre Vercheval out of Western Ontario, both gone for the night, and Saunders fumbles the football. The Argos can't find the handle. San Antonio got it back, and I think it was the quarterback, David Archer, who pounced on the loose ball after it bounced away from running back Mike Saunders. Joe Sardo stripped the ball from Saunders, and Archer reacted quickly to pounce on the loose football.
We spoke about Tony Obilovich in that last series. Watch as he folds back underneath inside. He gets a hand in there. He strips the ball out from Saunders, causes the fumble. David Archer hustling, recovers the ball. Argos almost had a big break.
Incomplete. Intended for Stock. Tommy Henry, the defender, working against him, so the San Antonio Texans will be kicking it away, but David Archer might suggest they were fortunate to still have the ball after the fumble by Mike Saunders.
Excellent reach by Tommy Henry, coming over the top, avoiding the contact before the ball arrived. That's how you play it. When the ball gets there and the receiver gets his hands up, slap him away.
Todd Jordan, the punter, had his best game against the Edmonton Eskimos on the 22nd of July when he had a 54-yard average. This is a big kick taken by Clemens at the 50. And Clemens is unable to escape the clutches of Tony Burse. There's also a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage after that 40-yard punt and 6-yard return.
Well, you're going to get a holding penalty on San Antonio.
George Black is the referee tonight at Skydome.
Toronto number 90, first down.
Swift Birch is charged with holding, and that takes the ball back inside the 40-yard line.
Well, the Argonauts had some success in that last series going to Rob Crefo. So you're going to force San Antonio to make some adjustments. They have their 5-pack of receivers in, so now you really stretch the defense.
Jack Climby in motion across the formation. The pass was intended for Paul Massotti, and it's incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10, Toronto, with 6:37 remaining in this opening quarter.
One of the vulnerabilities you have when you have a 5-pack and receivers and an immobile quarterback is the pressure. Your opposing team will more often than not blitz, and this time you see the pressure coming in, the ends collapsing the pocket on Austin. He had to step up and couldn't avoid the rush.
Penalty flags all over the place before Austin can really get the play underway.
Toronto.
A procedure call against the Argos. There were actually 4 flags on the field, so obviously all the officials saw what was taking place.
Well, the officials are into the game today, and that's good to see.
Despite being beaten 41-14 a week ago by Baltimore, Austin had a stretch where he completed 10 consecutive passes. He finished with a record of 21 of 29 for 215 yards. Screen pass intended for Clemens, and Clemens never saw the pass coming. He never really got turned around on the 2nd down play, so it will be 3rd and 15 now for the Argos as they send out their punting unit. They've been endeavoring to put the ball into the hands of the pinball, but haven't had a whole bunch of success doing it.
Well, I think one of the things with Kent right now is that he's so anxious to get things off to a good start that he's really pressing. You know, he has complete control of the offense today. He's making all of the play calls. And right now, he just hasn't been able to get in sync with the rest of the offense.
Lucas and Gates are back for the third down punt by Baker. It's taken by Lucas, and Lucas looks for some blocking to develop. It doesn't. And it was Noah Cantor who came through to make the tackle, limiting the run back to 5 yards after a 30-yard kick. Kay Stevenson with some final instructions for David Archer before he heads out. Last week, David Archer, for the first time in his CFL career, failed to throw a touchdown pass or an interception. That was against Memphis, but he still completed 19 of 28. A reverse. Saunders was attempting to hand it off to Lucas. There's a wild scramble for the football. San Antonio think they've got it back. That was a somewhat slow developing reverse.
Well, the Argos had a lot of penetration. Tonio Bilovich comes up with the ball, but they're going to say that San Antonio maintained possession of it. The Argonauts are just not getting any breaks. They're hustling and everything. The ball is just not bouncing their way.
The all-new Mercury Mystique drives like no other car in its class. With four-wheel independent suspension, a 16-valve Z-Tech engine that delivers the best highway fuel economy in its class, as well as 14 other features not found on any other car in its class. As for the rest, class dismissed. Drive the all-new Mercury Mystique.
Have you recently received a traffic ticket, been involved in an auto accident that wasn't your fault? Or are you a professional driver whose livelihood depends on your driving record? If any of these apply to you, Tickets, the traffic ticket people, specialize in court representation of traffic offenses. They're operated by professional and experienced personnel who are committed to servicing your needs at an affordable rate. If you received a ticket, let them help. Call for a free consultation today. Tickets, the traffic ticket people.
Hand me the sacred spice, mutant.
Take it, but leave my ultravision goggles. I cannot survive without them.
So you want to live in a comic book?
Greetings, puny mortals.
Welcome to the Comic Zone. Slay fiendish villains that get drawn back in page by hellish page. You'll feel right at home.
From the darkness of the oven, the slain beast.
We will live another day.
Comic Zone, only for Sega Genesis.
Well, after the fumble by San Antonio, a bit of miscommunication, the officials called a timeout, but play continued. San Antonio kicked it away, and the Argos have it now at their own 48-yard line as Clemens carries it up to the 50. There were penalty flags on the play. He was stopped there by Bethune.
Bethune also was offsides on that play, Don, so that would give him a jump on being able to make the tackle.
Offside, San Antonio 93. 5-yard penalty, first down repeated.
You spoke about in the opening, there had been some concerns with the coaching staff with the play of Bethune and that they would not hesitate in making a change.
Well, it's possible that Sawyer could come into the football game and take over for Bethune as this game moves along. Gerhardt came up to make the tackle on Clemens. Sawyer earlier knocked down a Kent Austin pass attempt that was almost intercepted by Harper. And now on second and about a yard and a half, the Argos send in their short yardage offense, and the Texans bulk up along the front. The ball goes to the pinball, and he will be hard-pressed to get the first down. It appeared, though, as though his forward progress may have taken him up in the vicinity of the 52-yard line before being driven back by Morris Miller. George Black, the referee, is going to call for a measurement to determine the exact location of the football. 2:55 the time remaining in the opening quarter. It's a 7-0 football game. The Texans have been somewhat fortunate. Twice they fumbled the football, but both times they were able to get it back.
Well, Maurice Miller did an excellent job of filling on that play. Mike Clemens got the ball. Younger came in as a lead blocker, and you'll get Miller here. Watch Younger as he fills. Clemens going to get the ball come here, but Miller's going to meet him right in the hole. Just a great fill by your middle linebacker. That's how it's drawn up. That's how you play it. Miller did an excellent job of executing.
Miller was telling me he felt a little rusty coming back against Memphis. He made a few mistakes, but he has promised that he will get better as the season moves along, and the Texans are confident that he will. The pass to Paul Massotti, he's stopped by David Harper.
David Harper came into this game, Don, as San Antonio's leading tackler.
And he's a player who has made a very successful adjustment, going from defensive end to linebacker. Pass is complete to Climby for a first down at the 37-yard line. Jock Climby came over to the Toronto Argonauts from the Ottawa Rough Riders. He's been having a good year when he's been able to stay in the lineup.
Well, big things were expected from Jock when he came over from Ottawa. Last year he started off, he was having an all-star season. He had the quad injury, and he's been hampered by injuries and slowed here in Toronto this season.
23 receptions coming into this game for 2 touchdowns. Here's the pinball trying to make people miss. But Miller was not buying any of his moves and stopped the pinball after a pickup of about 2.
When you think about a man the size of Miller, one-on-one in open field with Pinball Clemens, you would expect that advantage to go to pinball. But Miller did an excellent job breaking down. A lot of defensive players just want to put an arm out. He came down, proper breakdown, open field tackling techniques, made a great stop.
And they call him the Screen King. Last year, he led the team in interceptions with 5 from his linebacking position. Austin with time, throwing deep. Oh! And I think that may have been the result of 2 players going after the football at the same time, Climby and Coleman.
The ball looked like it might have been intended for Pat Coleman. Jock Climby hustling. The Argonauts haven't been in the end zone that often as a receiving core, but Jock Climby, you'll see right here on a post route as Climby comes in late. Pat Coleman was behind the defender. He thought the ball was intended for him. Humphreys was beat. Argonauts come up empty. Baker in for a field goal attempt.
Since their second game of the season, the Argos' lone touchdown at Skydome on August the 9th was by Don Wilson on an interception. Terry Baker's field goal attempt is good. Earlier, Baker missed from 52. This time he connects from 42.
The end of the great game of hockey this fall on CBC.
This is the beginning where the players realize how much money is being made on their backs.
Here I am, just a fellow that played hockey because he loved it.
Net Worth, the story that changed hockey forever.
Machines think fast, work efficiently, and make few errors. Technology is rapidly replacing workers. Will it eliminate your job? Are we becoming a jobless society? A Labor Day special on the National Magazine tonight at 10.
The Argos will prepare for Hamilton next Saturday, while San Antonio will have a bye week in the CFL schedule. And then these 2 teams, San Antonio and Toronto, hook up at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio on the 16th of September. Many of the players from San Antonio were taking a look at the Sky Dome prior to the roof being open, and they like their home field in San Antonio. They say that's a structure that was designed for football and that there are some very good sight lines, very good seating in the Alamo Dome. So the Toronto Argonauts will be there in 2 weeks' time. Earlier today, Calgary beat Edmonton 51-26 before a capacity crowd at McMahon Stadium in the annual Labor Day battle in southern Alberta.
And I think if people had any thoughts that might become a lesser team with the loss of Doug Flutie, that has been quickly erased by young Garcia at quarterback, who led the Stampeders to that rout of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Mark Nelson, who was a coach with the Edmonton Eskimos 92 through 94 and is now with San Antonio, was quite interested in the result today at McMahon Stadium. He said, but you know what? When they return to Edmonton next week, it could be an altogether different story.
It's been that way for the past couple of seasons.
Lucas is the man on the return, and Younger reaches out one hand and hauls him down, and he celebrates as he made the tackle after a 15-yard run back by Lucas.
That 74 in blue looks awful good out there. You get a shot of Younger as he's coming down. Not only is he playing middle linebacker, but he has to play special teams. Hustling down, avoiding the block, and gets there. Receiver.
Kay Stevenson sending in a play for David Archer to execute on 2nd and 10 from the shotgun formation. 4 receivers to the left. Stock crossing over the middle. The pass intended for Stock. A low throw as he was being covered by Don Wilson. And there may have been a reason for the low throw because Archer was being pressured by Hatziano. And that is also the final play of the opening quarter here at Skydome as the San Antonio Texans prepare to kick on 3rd down to start the 2nd quarter, leading by 4 points.
At McDonald's, there's something new this month. Introducing September's Taste of the Month, McOnion Bits. They're tasty, bite-sized pieces of sweet onion, deep fried to a golden brown. Any old onion can make you cry. McOnion Bits can make you smile.
Car and Driver has chosen their 10 best automobiles for 1995. Quite a select group. They all have the kind of safety features you would expect, like dual airbags, anti-lock braking systems, and reinforced body structure. They all have outstanding performance credentials, as you would expect. And they all have the kind of sticker price you would expect of a vehicle in such an elite group. All except one, a 1995 Ford Contour. It's nice to be in such good company, but not all the time.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by Ford of Canada, makers of the new 1996 Ford Taurus.
Well, it's been a great summer in southern Ontario, and the good weather continues on this Labor Day Monday as we look across Lake Ontario into the open roof of the Skydome next to the CN Tower. About an hour before the game, they opened up the roof under clear blue skies, and conditions are ideal inside the dome as San Antonio prepares to kick on 3rd down to start the 2nd quarter. Now, San Antonio registered 5 first downs on their initial drive that resulted in the touchdown by Troy Mills. Since that first drive, San Antonio has lost 6 yards in attempting to move the football. Mike Pinball Clemens awaits the 3rd down punt by Todd Jordan. 3rd string quarterback and punter for the San Antonio Texans. Clemens takes it at the 42-yard line. He gets a bit of an opening and then is caught from behind by Gates. For just a moment, the fans at Sky Dome thought the pinball might be able to break one all the way.
Don, just as we saw 2 nights ago with Chris Wright of Baltimore, Mike Pinball Clemens of Argos, if you don't get any hang time on your punts and allow your coverage team to come down, only 3.2 seconds on the hang time of that punt, and he got a nice return.
Not much difference statistically in the opening quarter for these two teams, but on the scoreboard, the Texans have a 7-3 advantage. Paul Massotti goes wide to the right. So does Jeff Fairholm. Pat Coleman is split left. There's that hitch screen to Fairholm, and Fairholm is caught from behind after a pickup of 5. Morris Miller, the middle linebacker, came over to make the tackle. And in the tackle, Fairholm lost his shoe. So obviously he is going to have to go out for one play. Moriali comes into the ball game. Fairholm had his big years when he was in Saskatchewan with the Rough Riders, 3 consecutive seasons of better than 1,000 yards, and this man was throwing to him. Movement at the line of scrimmage. Swing pass to the pinball. Now it appeared as though the San Antonio player was way across the line of scrimmage, but the question is, was he drawn offside by an illegal procedure call?
Well, Roosevelt Collins was the player. The voice inflection of Ken Austin really had him anticipating the snap, and he just jumped off sides in anticipation. They're going to cost San Antonio 5. The Argonauts will have second and about a half yard.
Roosevelt Collins.
Offside, San Antonio number 56. Second down repeated.
You get a good shot of him from the right side of your screen as he was just a little bit antsy there and came across in that neutral zone.
Collins played 3 games at rush end in the 1994 season for San Antonio, actually Sacramento then, and he was hurt. He's back at that rush end position again in this 1995 season. 3rd and inches, and the pinball will get the first down and a couple of yards more. He fought his way to about the 35-yard line. Scott Douglas in at the guard position, replacing the injured Pierre Verchevel.
Well, look at the determination of Pinball Clemens, but watch the pursuit of the San Antonio defense being held up by Gerhardt, the initial tackler, and then everyone else coming in getting a piece, and Willie Fears just at the end lowering the boom on Mike Pinball Clemens.
They ruled that he was downed at the 37, even though he had continued on to the 35-yard line. Austin works out of the shotgun, looks deep down the sidelines, and it's over the head of the intended receiver, Jeff Fairholm, who is back into the ball game after readjusting his footwear. And there's also a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. Fairholm this year, the number 3 receiver with the Argos.
Holding, Toronto number 58. Repeat first down.
Chris Giaskis was guilty of holding. So it's now 1st and 20 for Toronto as the ball comes back to the 42-yard line.
Your holding comes right here as Miller comes up the middle on the blitz. That's where the holding takes place, and the Argonauts just couldn't hold him out.
Another penalty flag as Pinball is unable to hang on to the little swing pass. He was looking upfield at about the same instant the ball arrived. But again, that red nylon is on the artificial turf here at Sky Dome, and we'll wait for George Black to explain it. A procedure call against Toronto.
Well, this game started out with a pretty good tempo, but now you see the laundry flying all over
procedure,
the field.
Toronto number 82. Penalties declined. Second down.
Pat Coleman, the wideout, obviously moved prematurely, much to the dismay of Coach Bob Obilovich. Scott Spurgeon, the man with his hat on backwards, standing beside him, has been added back to the Argo coaching staff as the special teams man. Obilovich made that decision when he took over on Monday after releasing headman Mike Paragelli. 2nd and 20, the penalty declined as Austin looks deep. Pass is complete, and Jock Climby is stopped at the 30-yard line. About 3 yards shy of a first down.
Well, that was a well-thrown pass by quarterback Ken Austin, who was able to sit back in the pocket. His offensive line gave him time. Jock Climby ran a deep end route. He'll come from the left of your screen. Austin saw the pressure, but hung in there and delivered a perfect strike to Climby.
And Austin also took a lick from George Bethune just as he threw the football. Now Terry Baker, who struck from 42 yards in the first quarter, will attempt a 37-yard field goal. And the Argos have drawn to within a single point with 11:32 remaining in the first half here at Skydome. David Archer put together a very impressive opening drive, but since then, San Antonio has done nothing.
It's a great story. You know these characters.
Han Solo. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, Princess Leia, definitely.
My favorite character would be Darth Vader. That incredible voice that he had.
Now I am the master.
Darth Vader is always, pretty awesome fellow.
Just grabbed you,
I actually enjoy watching it with my kids because I see them enjoying it.
I still hear the music in my ear.
The original Star Wars on video. Buy it before it's gone forever.
Mix 96 is a new Edmonton radio station. No rap, no hard stuff, no sleepy elevator music. Just the best mix of hits on the radio. A new Edmonton radio station, Mix 96. Turn on the new Mix 96 FM, the best mix of hits.
Say, have you seen what Ford's doing? No. Well, look here now. You might learn something.
At your Alberta Ford and Mercury dealers, everything goes. With 4.9% factory financing on Taurus, Sable, Escort, Ranger, and selected F-Series pickups. 4.9% financing for 48 months on Windstar, Villager, and Aerostar. Or choose cash back up to $1,500. Everything goes, but hurry before everything's gone.
A little scary for the competition. It's sad, really.
It's always been Ford.
Many of the boating enthusiasts in southern Ontario taking advantage of this fine summer day on the Labor Day weekend to perhaps get out for one of the last few times to pursue their favorite sport. Bob Obilovich is back pursuing his favorite sport from behind the bench. Third time he has been the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. Twice coming in mid-season, initially starting out in 1982 as the head man. Lucas on the kickoff return, tackled by the nephew of the Argo head coach and general manager, Tony Obilovich.
Oh, sound like family ties.
Think that had any connection with him getting a job?
Oh, no. Tony earned that job in training camp. As I mentioned earlier, everyone felt that he would earn a starting position. But at the time, they could only afford to use two American linebackers, and Don Wilson was there, along with Calvin Tiggle, who led the league in tackles last season.
From the shotgun, David Archer attempting to get something going again. He swings the pass out for Troy Mills, a low throw that Mills was unable to handle, and it will be 2nd and 10. Tommy Henry and Don Wilson were both defending against Troy Mills.
David Archer has been afforded the luxury of a very improved offensive line. They've been able to give him ample amount of time to stand in the pocket and deliver the passes. You see right there as Stevens just flattens the linebacker Younger as he tries to leap into the air.
Tommy Henry, in his debut in the 1995 season, had 2 interceptions against Edmonton on the 1st of July. He's been solid at that halfback position. The pass is complete to Hess. It looks as though he's going to be stopped just short of a first down by Don Wilson.
Don Wilson came back over to the Argonauts this year after spending a couple solid seasons with the Edmonton Eskimos to take over that Sam linebacker position. All of the teams in the CFL now are going to a converted defensive back into a linebacker position, bringing that extra speed in so that they don't have to bring in that 6th defensive back when a team goes to that 5-pack of receivers.
Wilson playing his 151st CFL game on this 3rd down gamble. The Argos beef up the front, and this is probably going to require a measurement depending upon where they spotted the football. It looks as though it is outside the 50-yard line, and if that's the case, it will be a first down. And that is the case, signals George Black, but some of the Argo defenders aren't happy with the decision.
Well, nevertheless, Joe Sardo did a wonderful job of filling right there as David Archer came over the top. He met him right at that point, and it was very close. And I don't blame the Argonauts for asking for a measurement because that one was very close.
And I think Bob Obilovich was upset. He didn't feel that San Antonio came to a full set at the line of scrimmage before snapping the football on that third down gamble. This is Troy Mills, and these are a hard-fought 6 yards for the San Antonio running back. I said at the start of the telecast that even though Mike Saunders is number 2 in rushing in the CFL behind Mike Pringle of Baltimore, Troy Mills would probably get the bulk of the work as far as the San Antonio running game went today.
Well, they really like what he's done, Don, and he's been with the team for a couple of years when they were in Sacramento, coming back after a free agent tryout in the NFL, and has stepped right in and picked up the tempo in this backfield.
Pass is over the middle, and it's complete to Hess for a first down as he fights his way inside the 35 in the grasp of Joe Fuller. There's also a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Going to get a roughing the passer here.
Major foul, roughing the passer, front of number 99. First down.
Jeff Cummins is called for roughing the passer, so that will dramatically improve the field position of San Antonio.
Cummins will come from the top of your screen. He's one of the Argos leaders at sacks with 4 coming into the game. And anytime you go up around that headgear, the referees are susceptible to throwing a flag, and that time you got a clear shot of Cummins going up too high.
His best game was against Memphis, where he had 2 tackles and 2 sacks. Here comes Mills on the draw play, and he'll be very close to another first down. He has a pickup of about 9, taking the ball inside the 10-yard line with 8:40 remaining in this opening half. Obilovich and Birch were in on the stop.
One of the things they like to do here, they're going to bring it here. They're going to kick down, kick out, and Sardo's one-on-one in the middle. And Mills is going to win that battle every time as Sardo overruns the play, comes back, and able to pick up 9 yards on first down.
Some adjustments offensively for San Antonio. They send in the short yardage offense. Bob Obilovich trying to offer some advice from the sidelines as to what to expect. The handoff to Saunders. He follows the block. Touchdown. Chuck Este was the lead blocker. He came out of his right guard position to pull for Mike Saunders and lead the leading rusher on the San Antonio team into the end zone.
Just power of football, and San Antonio has that huge offensive line up front, a throwback to the Hogs era in Washington, but that time Saunders had a clear path to the end zone as there was not an Argo to be had, and Walcott just was going to lose that battle every time.
Saunders, of course, signed as a free agent after rushing for 1,205 yards last year for Saskatchewan. Point after added by Roman Anderson. Saskatchewan didn't need much help yesterday as they hammered Winnipeg by a score of 56-4 in a high-scoring Labor Day weekend in the CFL.
The landscaping fell victim to the insect plague of 2004. Around 2019, a new use was found for automobiles. And by 2030, the house was on its 7th paint job. In truth, about all that's lasted since 1995 is the lifetime finish on the Wiser Brilliance brass handle set. Wiser Brilliance, weathers a lifetime.
These are the mean machines. Watch closely now and you will see they can hurt you. They can cut you. These are the mean machines.
Trevor knows what it means to play safe. A year ago, he tried to beat the train. It cost him his arm.
Don't let it happen to you. Play safe.
A message from the War Amps of Canada.
Play safe.
Tirecraft introduces the new Michelin Energy Tire. The biggest revolution since Michelin invented the radial. The new Radial XSE technology sets a whole new standard in the rain, in the snow. It even saves gas. Introducing the new Energy Tire from Michelin. It's science that goes beyond magic. Hurry into your local tire craft store for the revolutionary Michelin Energy Tire before they disappear.
Stay here at right guard. Joe Sardo's been put in linebacker. He's going to come to field. Este will pull, and watch Saunders as he kicks right in off Este's block, goes to the corner, and it's going to be a perfect drawn-up play on the board.
James, I know you were going to do the play on the telestrator, and it looked good the way you had diagrammed it. Unfortunately, due to a technical glitch, we didn't see it, but perhaps we can get back to it. Pat Coleman on the kickoff return, and he had a head of steam as he crossed the 35-yard line, tackled there by David Gamble.
Okay, we got Este here at right guard. We got Sardo who's going to come to field. Este will pull, kick him back inside, and Saunders will go right to the outside. And Walcott is the only guy between he and the goal line. As you see Este as he pins Sardo, Walcott just doesn't stand a chance. A nice stiff arm by Saunders. Touchdown, San Antonio.
The 6th touchdown of the year for Mike Saunders. Kent Austin has completed 8 of 14 passes so far for 73 yards. He gives to the pinball. The pinball cuts back inside, bounces off a couple of people, and that's why the fans in Toronto love him. Malcolm Frank was finally able to make the tackle, but not before the pinball ran for 15.
Vintage pinball Clemens, Don. That's what the fans love, as you say here in Toronto. This is what you've come accustomed to over the years. Watch the movement of pinball. He makes people miss. He is darting back and forth, giving all he has for this Argonaut offense, picking up a first down up at the 53-yard line.
Austin works the hitch screen to Coleman. Coleman has great speed, and he is able to cut back inside and take the ball to the 46. Morris Miller came over to make the tackle.
Pat Coleman is not a stranger to running inside routes. Only 5'7", played 2 years with the Houston Oilers of the NFL before coming to the Argonauts 2 games ago, and he's a welcome addition to this Argonaut offensive passing attack, as well as a great special team returner.
He has the speed that can burn a team deep. This is something that Obilovich likes, and he can also play special teams. The toss to the pinball. Here's the reverse. Coleman can't avoid the initial pressure from James King. King came through and was waiting there for Coleman on the reverse. Had he been able to get outside of King, I think he had some room.
King, the right defensive end out of Texas A&I University, is a well-designed play with that time, but you got the wrong guy lead blocking. You got Ken Austin, who's had a lot of injuries shoulder-wise, and it's very difficult for him to be out front throwing a block, and King really had no problem in tracking down Coleman.
Austin's in trouble. And Austin is going to try and run, and he'll slide into the 43-yard line. Most quarterbacks go in feet first, but Austin decided to go head first into that 43-yard line.
Well, I don't think Kent's been too accustomed to making it that far downfield without falling down, but he was trying to pick up the first down, and that's the rejuvenance that we see of Ken Austin at quarterback, is that he's trying to do all that he can to get the Argonauts in the victory column. They have not won a game all season long that he has started, so he is very anxious to get his first victory of the 95 season.
Well, the Argos have had problems scoring touchdowns this year, particularly at the Sky Dome, and this will be a 50-yard field goal attempt by Terry Baker. This one is wide. He had the distance, but it was off target. And Lucas on the return works his way out to the 40-yard line. He needs one block. He doesn't get it. He's forced out of bounds by Paul Massotti, who holds on the field goal attempts. And that saved a San Antonio touchdown. Lucas brings it back 69 yards to the Toronto 46-yard line.
Watch right here as the Argonauts get too many people to the left, and that's one of the things you have to stay bracketed when you're coming down covering on a missed kick. Lucas read the coverage that they had the hole in the middle, broke it up the middle, took it back to the sideline, and if not for the speed of a Paul Massotti, a wide receiver who holds for kicks, that would have been 6 more for San Antonio.
The Texans 1st and 10 now from the 46 of Toronto with 4:44 remaining in the half. Archer looking for it all with Stock. He's got it. Touchdown. That's the way to cash in on a big return. Lucas brought it out of the end zone on the missed field goal try, and Archer immediately goes to work and puts it in the hands of Mark Stock from 46 yards out for the major score.
Well, that's what you hate, is to have a big play on a specialty team such as a return by Lucas, and on the first play out to have an offense. David Archer drops back. He has the time. Maurice Kelly did not jam Stock at the line of scrimmage. He allowed him to get behind him. 6 points the result for San Antonio.
That's Stock's third touchdown of the season. He was the #2 receiver on the team coming into this ball game. And Boba Vilovich shakes his head and asks what happened. Roman Anderson adds the point after with 4:18 remaining in the first half. The Texans have it under control, leading by 15.
Meet the Parker twins, Bob and Fred.
Hi.
Identical in every way, except when it comes to taking care of their cars. Bob likes the shine of original Armor All Protectant, but not Fred.
I gotta be me.
Fred's discovered the rich, deep finish of new low-gloss Armor All. It protects like original Armor All.
But without the glossy shine.
Original or new low gloss.
Now it's your choice.
Only from Armor All.
Hey, can I try that?
帶女將高當啲當啲咩嘅？
cha mẹ我cài computer，要除了毛病。
你檢查過 confidence 登話嘛？
我拍過字樣電話，也是無效啊。
你知無？我推過 IBM 嘅資料，他們令到電話裡幫你查出唔對，就將毛病處理好啊。
真好啊，打電話對啊。
We gave Dodge Ram the most powerful overall line of truck engines on the planet. A driver's side airbag, the option of four-wheel anti-lock brakes, a cab design that sets a new standard for comfort and room. Then, after we made the Dodge Ram that good, we made it this bad. Introducing new Ram Sport. From Dodge, Canada's truck stop.
Fine, that's fine.
Mark Stock scores his third touchdown of the season. Man who spent 3 years with Washington in the NFL, putting his receiving talents to work for the San Antonio Texans, hauling in the 46-yard throw from David Archer for the major score. Morielli takes the kick and immediately is covered by the San Antonio Texans, with Wilhite making the tackle at the 20-yard line. Good coverage on special teams by San Antonio.
One of the things that a quarterback must recognize is when your receiver has a defensive backbeat, and you'll see Stock as he comes up on Maurice Kelly. We get a freeze right here. You see where he's got the angle on Kelly, and at that point he's blowing past, and David Archer recognizes that. He lays out a perfect strike, doesn't overthrow the receiver. That's one of the things you have a problem with. You get a little over anxious and overthrow. That time a perfect strike for the touchdown.
Kay Stevenson was saying that Stock is very good in communicating with Archer and reading defenses, and obviously he read that one well.
Beautiful design pass play.
Oh, is Austin hit as he dumps it off to the pinball, and Austin is still not up. He got sandwiched between Harper and Gerhardt. He was able to dump it off to the pinball, and the pinball got up to the 30-yard line, but he was in the process of throwing when the two arrived.
And you know the thing about that hit, Don, Ken Austin had no chance to protect himself. He did not see the hit coming from behind, and just as he turned to deliver the ball to pinball, because what you want to do is look off the defender. You'll see him looking to his right, and as Gerhardt comes from the bottom of your screen, he does not see Harper up top, and Gerhardt just puts that shoulder right in the sternum, and Ken Austin took the full brunt of that blow.
An Oreo cookie, two white jerseys against a dark jersey.
Inverted, though, inverted.
In reverse.
But Ken Austin felt all of that, and he's still down, and Ken Austin has suffered a lot of injuries over the past couple of years in his career, and this is one of the things and one of the problems he's had to fight through, and right now he's still down here at the stadium.
That means that Marvin Graves is going to get an opportunity to come into the football game. He was the starter in the last half of the season for the Argos a year ago. He relinquished the starting job to Kent Austin somewhat reluctantly this year, but now Marvin Graves will get an opportunity to display his skills. And I'm sure on the field they issued some instructions, regardless of how badly hurt Kent Austin is, to stay down, giving Graves more opportunity to warm up. He has only attempted 21 passes this year and completed 8. Those numbers reversed for 112 yards. But he does have the ability to throw the football.
Well, you look at Marvin Graves, and the statistics are not great, Don, but Marvin came in last year and led the Argonauts to the playoffs for the first time since the 1991 season. And there was a lot of high hopes when they signed this young man 2 years ago out of Syracuse University. And coming into training camp this year, he had the disc problem in his lower back, and he had to have the surgery, as we get a look once again at that blow that Kent Austin took. But Marvin Graves, they felt, was the quarterback of the future. And Bob Obilovich said that if Kent Austin struggled, that he would not hesitate in making a quarterback change. I know Marvin didn't want to come in under this type of situation with Kent going down with an injury, but a change is being made at quarterback, and hopefully he can add some spark to the Argonaut offense.
Graves last year passed for 1,888 games for the Argos, completing 119 of 230 throws. So Kent Austin heads off to the sidelines, and Marvin Graves will come in as quarterback. Let's go to the sidelines, and here's Scott Oates.
All right, Don, on the BF Goodrich TA halftime report from Skydome today, we'll revisit McMahon Stadium in Calgary, where Jeff Garcia won the hearts of Stamps fans. Mark Lee will provide the details. And how can such a talented offense struggle so horribly? That's what people around the league were asking about the Argos. The first half of this season, we'll put the question to some members of the Bomb Squad. That's at halftime.
Well, the Bomb Squad has certainly been silenced. They've been more like Scud missiles here at the Skydome this year, as the Argos have had their problems scoring touchdowns. And not unexpectedly, when a new quarterback comes in, the first play is usually a handoff. As Kent Austin receives some treatment at the Toronto bench, it appears as though he was cut under the chin.
Well, they only had second and about a half yard, so Marvin wanted to come in and secure his first down. But now the pressure is really on Marvin Graves. Can he get involved in the scheme of things? They've changed up the offensive scheme this past week with the replacement of the head coach. How will he perform?
Penalty flag, and it looks like it's going to be a time count violation against Marvin Graves and the Argos with 2:44 remaining in the first half. 21-6 is the score. The Texans leading the Argos.
At Home Building Center, we see every home improvement job as a big job. Sir, what does big mean to you?
500 feet of fencing.
Whoa. Big plans, man?
Oh, yeah. 10 houses to drywall.
Planning a big entrance?
No, I'm putting in a new door.
Ah, right.
The Homewood Projects Guide is available now at participating dealers with over 40 all-wood do-it-yourself projects from Select Home Designs.
If you have big plans, we have friendly advice and a great price.
With Canada's largest group of building supply dealers, you can always plan on home.
October 26th and 27th at Jubilee Auditorium, the Rankin family returns live. The critics agree they are the distinctive Canadian sound. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster outlets or charge at 451-8000. Presented by the Edmonton Journal and CBC. Endless Seasons, new from the Rankin family. Available at Kmart.
Don't adjust your set. Adjust your thinking. Because if you need a new 95, now's the best time to buy or lease. We're passing on huge price reductions on selected makes and models with the best deals of the year. And these are just some of the great vehicles available. Come in now for a great deal during the Pontiac Buick GMC Canada-wide clearance. Hurry and soon. And you should see the choice of colors.
When Kent Austin got sandwiched between Harper and Gerhardt, it appeared as though his chin came down on the helmet of Gerhardt, and that was the reason for the cut underneath the chin. But it could be that Kent Austin will be returning, a 9-year CFL veteran who has posted some very impressive numbers during his career, the bulk of which was spent with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Last year with the BC Lions, and this year, of course, with the Toronto Argonauts. 10 of 16 for 93 yards for Kent Austin before going out. Another change the Argos had to make early was Scott Douglas going in at left guard in place of Pierre Verchevel. Marvin Graves in at quarterback in place of Kent Austin. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 28-yard line. Pass complete on the sidelines to Clemens. And he'll get about 4, maybe even 5. I think I inadvertently said earlier that he had passed for 1,888 games. Of course, that should have been yards.
You did say that. I'll stand behind you on that. But you're allowed that after 34 years and one mistake. Who's going to hold you to blame for that?
I know you will.
You can bet on that. Marvin Graves will add a different look, though, to the Argonaut offense. A younger, more aggressive throwing arm. And so you'll see a lot deeper pass routes with him in.
I wonder if he has also been given the opportunity to call his own plays. Pass was intended for Jeff Fairholm. That was the strategy by Bob Obilovich, working with Kent Austin as his starting quarterback, to let Austin call his own plays. I don't know whether he is quite as agreeable to having Marvin Graves call his own plays.
Well, one of the things with Marvin Graves, you're going to have to give him some assistance because he hasn't played much. But you see Jeff Fairholm from that overhead cam. One of the things Marvin Graves has done, though, is locked in on his primary receiver. As Fairholm needs to work back to the ball just a little quicker to get some separation from the defensive back when he's breaking on it.
Jason Wallace came up to defend. There was some concern that Wallace, who injured a shoulder in practice, would even be available to play in this game. Lucas takes the ball back at the 25-yard line, and he's down immediately. Hatziano, who excels on special teams, was downfield to make the tackle. He already has 4 quarterback sacks this year. That equals his total for the 104 previous games he played in the CFL.
Well, Leon got a chance to start here in Toronto this season, and they've been very pleased with his success as a starter on the defensive line. And when any time you get a chance to play and display your talents on a regular basis, you always should respond, and Leon has filled the bill this year.
Leon got 19 games pay for an 18-game season in '88 when he shuffled back and forth between Winnipeg and Ottawa. The pass was deflected into the arms of Don Wilson, and Wilson is stopped at the 24-yard line. It looked as though Jermaine Younger is the man who deflected the David Archer pass, and it came back into the arms of Don Wilson. And Wilson was the last man to score a touchdown here at the Sky Dome for the Argos. That was in the game against Edmonton on a pass interception.
Coach Obilovich had high praise for this young man, Younger, that he would get a chance to play and he would make things happen from his middle linebacker position. He's sitting here. Archer's going to look to his primary receiver. Younger's going to get back up into the sight line. He's going to leap into the air. He's going to go back. He's going to tip the ball to Wilson. Wilson hustling in, makes the interception. Argonauts with great field position down at the 22.
That's the way you work the tip drill in practice, isn't it?
I never got a chance to put my hands on the ball.
Graves with good protection throwing over the middle. He was looking for Fairholm. Fairholm protesting mildly to the official that he thought he was interfered with, but there was no flag.
Well, one of the things that you get with Marvin is that Kent has took most of the reps with the #1 group in the offense, so his timing will be off somewhat. And that time, rolling to his left, trying to throw back across his body, that's a very difficult throw. He needs to get set, get those hips turned so he can have a proper delivery.
Obilovich was very impressed with the play of Younger in preparing for this game. And he said he would probably get in to play a fair bit. He didn't anticipate that Younger would come into the ball game early as a replacement for the injured middle linebacker Tiggle. He has had an impact since he's come into the ball game. The pass is over the middle, and the catch is made by Rob Greenwald. That will be close to a first down.
Looks like he has enough down at the 10-yard lines to pick up the first down, but Rob Greenwald, look at him in the slot, 6'6", a very easy target for Marvin Graves to find. He's always liked throwing to Greenwald, and Greenwald has been very underrated, but he's been very productive here in an Argonaut uniform.
A University of Toronto product. He joined the Argos for the final 4 games of last season. He missed the first 2 games of this year with injury. The ball is just outside the 10-yard line. A handoff to Ford. He has never scored a touchdown. He's got his first. No, they're ruling that he's down shy of the goal line. Dwayne Ford in his CFL career has never scored a touchdown, and he's denied the opportunity as they rule he touchdown just shy of the goal line.
The one player on the field that I don't think San Antonio was expecting to carry the football. Dwayne Ford got the handoff from Marvin Graves on an inside trap play, and a great effort of getting down to the 1 yard line. As you see right here, the huge hold. Dumares with a great job of blocking out on the end of Sawyer.
Will Ford finally get the opportunity for his first ever professional touchdown? Here he goes. He's in. Dwayne, don't throw the ball away. Hang on to it.
That's one you would think that he wants to keep, but great for the fans here at Sky Dome. And Dwayne Ford, his first professional touchdown. He's always been the lead blocker for the primary ball carrier, either in Winnipeg, Calgary, or here in Toronto. But now he gets a chance to shine, and what a great way to do it. The Argonauts' first home touchdown in several games.
He says, it's nothing. I don't need that football, and he tossed it to the back of the end zone.
He'll go find that one, Don. Send someone after it.
1:08 remaining in the half as Terry Baker adds the point after. And the interception late in this first half will give the Argos a big lift, and the happiest man in the field is Dwayne Ford. In 5 years, he scores his first touchdown this Labor Day at Sky Dome.
Well, big things happen off of big plays. You got the interception by Wilson with the tip from Younger, and Dwayne Ford was able to respond with his second carry of this drive after the reception by Crefo to get the ball down to the 10-yard line, and then Ford's like a bulldozer and just drives into the end zone. What a great surge by that Argonaut offensive line. The right side of that line doing a wonderful job. Gioskis and Dumaresk on the right side, and Ford is rewarded with his first professional touchdown.
And he's accepting congratulations, and deservedly so, at the Toronto Argonaut bench. He doesn't seem as excited as I thought a guy would when he scored his first ever touchdown.
Well, just the day at the office, you know, he knows the struggle that his team has been in, and one touchdown is generally not enough to win a CFL game. He is keeping his composure, keeping his head in the game, because there's still another 31 minutes of football yet to be played, and the Argonauts are in a dogfight.
Gamble drops on the kick after Burse had some problems handling it. And that's at the 35-yard line, a 40-yard kickoff, no opportunity for a return.
Well, now the Argonauts, it's that time where the defense needs to keep the tempo turned up. They came up with the big play on the interception, the last possession that San Antonio had the football. Can they hold San Antonio here, possibly get another turnover, or even force them into a bad punt, possibly give Baker another opportunity at a field goal going into the half?
These two teams meet in 2 weeks at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. So you folks who are watching on KENS TV, Channel 5 in San Antonio, might want to get out and purchase some tickets for that football game. It should be a good one if the first half here at Sky Dome has been any indication. Mills on the receiving end of the throw from David Archer, taking the ball up to the 41-yard line. Obilovich and Wilson came over to make the tackle. 2nd and 5. Archer looks out into the flat, and he's got Hess for a first down, taking it up to the midfield stripe. Still 48 seconds remaining in the first half. Still plenty of time for Archer to put his team in scoring position.
Well, after Kelly gave up that 46-yarder to Stock, he gave him a lot of cushion on that last play, and you just can't afford to do that. You have to maintain your aggression. Even though you gave up the touchdown, you don't want them to chip their way downfield and get in Anderson field goal range. He's only missed 3 field goals all season.
Taylor and Lucas line up wide to the left. But Archer is looking over the middle. It's incomplete. He thought he had Gamble, but Gamble may have slipped as he was attempting to make his cut and come back to the ball.
Well, the ball was overthrown, and he thought that he may be able to come back underneath. But we get a shot of Tony Obilovich working hard right here, coming in, putting the pressure on David Archer, and that is the reason why the ball came up short. That young linebacker has been earning his pay this afternoon.
Only the second game that Obilovich has dressed for Toronto this season. He returned to the lineup last week against Baltimore. Archer is in the shotgun from the midfield stripe on 2nd and 10. The pass over the middle, and this is complete to Stock, and he'll have a first down. Don Wilson and Morris Kelly were able to make the tackle.
And Don, they're already in Anderson field goal range. He has only missed 2 field goals in excess of 50 yards all year long.
Only missed 3 in total this season.
Well, David Archer getting the time from his offensive line as Stock is able to run that deep crossing route.
Sardo wrapped up the man quickly. Troy Mills is stopped at the 40-yard line. That's a pickup of about 4 yards.
One of the things you have to be impressed with the Argonauts this evening in this game is that they're running around, they're hustling, they're laying leather. You can hear helmets and shoulder pads popping all over the field, and that's something they haven't been doing early in the season.
Again, out of the shotgun formation. Archer with time. He's got a man open. And Kitrick Taylor has his first catch of the day, taking the ball down to the 17-yard line.
Well, see, sometime when you go back in and prevent defense, the only thing you're preventing is yourself from putting pressure on the quarterback and covering your receivers. And that time, Kitrick Taylor does a deep circle route.
Penalties declined. First down.
And gets the ball down to the 17-yard line, and San Antonio is threatening to push it in right before halftime.
It's only the 7th catch of the season for Taylor. Here's pressure. Younger gets to Archer before he can throw. Boy, Bobo Bilovich, in talking about Younger yesterday, said when he gets a chance to play, he will make his presence felt, and he has this evening at Skydome.
Watching from the bottom of your screen, comes in untouched. He has made an immediate impact in the play of this Argonaut defense. That's what they've needed to spark the enthusiasm, and Younger has come in and provided that. If they can carry that for 60 minutes, they have a great chance of winning this ball game.
San Antonio has called a timeout as David Archer comes over to confer with Kay Stevenson. He's probably asking, where did that guy wearing 74 come from? Is that really James Curry?
He's looking for some smelling salts, most likely, because that was a nice, clean shot. Younger has been very impressive in his CFL debut here at Skydome, and that's what the Argonauts have been lacking. And now he's come in, giving that enthusiasm, the fresh legs, and he just levels the boom on David Archer. He didn't see him coming, but that's how you play defense. You got a clean shot at the quarterback, you take it.
The clock will not start until the ball is snapped, so they have a chance for 2 plays, perhaps. Taylor in the end zone, incomplete. 4 seconds remaining. So with the timeout, the Texans obviously decided to try to put it in the end zone. If that didn't work, they'd call upon Roman Anderson to try for 3.
And Don, the Argonauts got a big break on that play because Maurice Kelly was burnt on that play. They had gotten behind him, and once again, he is just playing too soft, and David Archer couldn't get a tight spiral out. As you see the receiver having to wait on it, allowing Kelly the time to recover, but Taylor once again had gotten behind him, came up short.
Anderson is a perfect 16 for 16 this year inside the 40-yard line. He's only missed 3 field goals in the 34 he's attempted. And he's now 32 for 35. On the final play of the half, he splits the uprights, and the San Antonio Texans will head off to the dressing room with an 11-point lead. 24-13 is the score, with San Antonio leading Toronto at the half.
Welcome to the BF Goodrich TA Halftime. Now, here's your host, Scott Oak.
Here at Skydome, the Argos are 30 minutes into Bobo Bilovich's 3rd reign as head coach, and are trailing 24-13. The Calgary Stampeders burst out of the gate to an 8-1 start in the first half of the season, but never mind good starts. Stamps and their fans know that only 2 things matter. One is advancing to the Grey Cup, and the other is beating the Eskimos in Calgary on Labor Day. Stamps had a chance to take care of the latter at McMahon Stadium this afternoon, and here's Mark Lee now with the details.
Scott Doug Flutie undergoes surgery tomorrow in Los Angeles on his passing arm, and today the Stampeders can rest easy. That's because they know they're in good hands with sophomore quarterback Jeff Garcia. Garcia setting the tone today in the Battle of Alberta in the first quarter here. Rolling to his left on the fake to Tony Stewart, and he finds linebacker Marvin Big Daddy Pope in the end zone. It's 8-1 Stampeders in the first quarter. Then Garcia wants more. He's hungry. Here he finds Alan Pitts 14 yards open in the end zone. It's 18-1 Stampeders. The Eskimos coming back. Kerwin Bell replacing Chris Vargas, throws to Eric Blount, and he rumbles 99 yards late in the second quarter to bring Edmonton closer, 19-8. Then disaster for the secondary. Darian Hagan returning an interception, injures his hip. He's down. Then another Edmonton starter, Trent Brown, hurts his knee. He's out of the game. The Edmonton secondary is in disarray, but Kerwin Bell is keeping Edmonton in this game. This is fourth quarter action now. Bell scrambling around the Calgary defense, and he finds Nick Mazzoli open in the end zone for the touchdown. It's now 29-26 Calgary, the lead but a field goal. But here comes Garcia, not to be denied on this day, finding Pitts again in the end zone. One of 3 touchdowns to him on the day. It's 36-26 Calgary. The route is on, and Ron Lancaster can't do anything about it. This is Jeff Garcia's day as he celebrates with his dad 6 touchdown passes in a 51-26 rout of the Eskimos in the Labor Day Classic.
Will Doug Flutie's loss bring the Stamps back to the rest of the CFL pack? Apparently not. In our game at Skydome, the Texans are sitting on an 11-point lead through 30 minutes. The BF Goodrich TA halftime report will continue in just a moment.
Can you take him for a minute?
Sure.
Thanks. You sure this is the one you want?
Yeah. Hey, he's adorable.
You like him more than all the others?
Yeah. We'll take him.
And you're gonna walk him?
I promise.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't accept that card.
Oh, but it's all we have.
I'm sorry.
But there you are. There he is.
We'll take him.
Used more often than any other card in the world. Visa.
Come on, Elmo.
Elmo?
It's the only card you need.
We're going back to school.
Back to school.
Teachers' homework and all the rules. We're gonna look like $1 million bucks going back to school.
Don't take chances with your feet. Get back to school in style with shoes from Lil Feet. They'll fit perfectly and look great. Lil Feet is all the best makes, all sizes, all widths. Lil Feet at Guilford Town Center and Windsor Square in White Rock.
Going back to school.
Sterling Theatrical presents the world premiere.
Unforgettable. That's what you are.
Denzel Pinnock is Nat King Cole in Unforgettable. In Victoria, October 4th. In Vancouver, October 27th. Early bird vouchers at Safeway, Ball & Books, Starbucks, and A&B Sound guarantee low prices. Call Ticketmaster 280-4444 or McPherson Playhouse Outlets 386-6121.
This game, the Argos hadn't scored an offensive touchdown at Skydome since July the 6th, week 2 of the season. They managed one in the first half against San Antonio, and apparently the forward pass is not illegal anymore here in Toronto. Welcome back now to the BF Goodrich TA halftime report. Off-season consensus was the Argos would be vastly improved, and that seemed reasonable given some key free agent acquisitions. The offense was beefed up, promptly named the bomb squad, and was supposed to leave defenses the league over shell-shocked. Look at the career numbers. Put Kent Austin together with 3 of the CFL's most accomplished receivers, and what other conclusion could you reach? Fairholm, Mazzotti, and Climby on the receiving end of Austin passes would make for an explosive offense. But far from exploding, the bomb squad is imploding. There has been abject frustration, frequent lapses of concentration, terrible throws, uncharacteristic drops by sure-handed receivers, and sometimes no place for the quarterback to hide.
Certainly, things haven't gone the way that we expected or hoped for, but unfortunately for us, there's always, tomorrow, and we still have half a season to go, and we're not out of playoff contention yet. And I've been on 2 teams that were third-place teams that weren't expected to win the Grey Cup, and I've won it twice with 2 third-place teams. So I think if you can get in the playoffs and are playing your best football of the year at playoff time, you got a chance.
And so the Argos are still rebuilding, and really nothing has changed in the last 3 years.
I think ever since the '91 Grey Cup and not signing Matt Dunnigan really changed our team, and I think it changed the league as well with the big trade, getting Tracy here and shifting the personnel around the league. And it's really changed the league and definitely our team.
Then there's the nickname and the embarrassment of not coming close to living up to it. They've heard the catcalls.
The bomb squad obviously wasn't one of our creations. That was a front office thing, and I still think it holds true. We have unbelievable talent on offense. You just run down the list of starters. It's really amazing. But obviously we haven't put the ball in the end zone. That's been our #1 problem.
Comments by Austin, Mazzotti, and Climby made prior to today's game, and halfway through it, some of the vaunted Argo offense has finally shown through. James, there hasn't been an instant turnaround, but as I say, there were some signs of improvement in the form of completed passes, which have been something of a rarity here at Skydome.
Well, I think one of the things that they did was they found Rob Kriefel, been one of the lost entities in this offense, and he's been successful in spreading the ball around to the different receivers, and that's been a plus. But Kent was sharp early, but he had to go out with the injury.
Don, like everybody else, were you surprised that the Argo offense struggled so much in the first half of the season?
Yes, I was surprised, judging the talent that the Argos have. Here we see the touchdown by Mike Saunders as he takes it into the end zone. San Antonio put together a touchdown drive the first time they had the football. Then they struggled, but they managed to get things going again. And then after a big punt or a missed field goal return by Lucas, Stock took the 46-yard pass from David Archer.
But the Argonauts were able to score their first home touchdown since July, and Dwayne Ford with his first professional touchdown. A big lift for this Argonaut team and gave them some momentum moving towards halftime.
Punched it in from the 1. That, as you say, James, his first pro touchdown ever, and that was set up by Don Wilson's interception, which is worthy of mention. He's one of the Argos who's played not badly this season.
Well, as I mentioned during the telecast, he was the last person to score a touchdown for the Argos here at the Skydome on an interception. They have had problems putting the ball in the end zone. The defense has played pretty well, but it's been on the field far too much this year.
Don, there are some viewers on KENS TV back in San Antonio probably saying, why don't those guys talk about the Texans? We're looking at their schedule earlier, and it's possible they could finish 12-6.
What an ideal schedule they've got. 5 of their final 7 games are at home. Kay Stevenson was saying that he wishes he was playing Baltimore back-to-back now instead of when they played them early in the season. But they have an ideal schedule with 5 of their final 7 at the Alamo Dome, and they could be a force to be reckoned with in the battle for first place in the Southern Division.
All right, through 30 minutes, the Texans sitting on a lead, but the Argos may have some momentum. The second half kickoff is coming up, and that's the BF Goodrich TA halftime report.
The Star Wars trilogy on video. The Star Wars trilogy on video in THX. Now feel the full force in THX. It's a difference you can see and hear. The original Star Wars on video. Buy it before it's gone forever.
The BF Goodrich TA Performance Radio now gives you more performance than ever. Thanks to up-to-the-minute G-Wedge technology, it delivers exceptional road handling control in even the tightest turns. The BF Goodrich TA Radio. Nothing stops it from performing. Well, almost nothing.
At McDonald's, there's something new this month. Introducing September's Taste of the Month, McOnion Bits. They're tasty, bite-sized pieces of sweet onion, deep-fried to a golden brown. McOnion Bits can make you smile.
The Star Wars trilogy on video. The Star Wars trilogy on video in THX. Now feel the full force in THX. It's a difference you can see and hear. The original Star Wars on video. Buy it before it's gone forever.
The same brand name furniture and mattresses sold at furniture and department stores, but at warehouse prices. Furniture for every room in your home at savings up to 1/2.
United Furniture Warehouse.
What's going on?
Absolutely nothing.
Why?
I just don't know.
Real time on CBC Stereo, and we are connecting the entire country.
Real time, Saturday night on CBC Stereo. Better radio through modern technology.
Behind the scenes. Ahead of its time. Venture. For the best stories from the world of business. Sunday evenings on CBC. The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by B.F. Goodrich TA. Performance. Serious performance.
Welcome back to Skydome, where San Antonio will take an 11-point lead into the second half of this first of two meetings between these two teams. The Toronto Argonauts have a game next Saturday against Hamilton before they hook up with the Texans again at the Alamo Dome on the 16th. But San Antonio will enjoy a bye next week, so they will have plenty of time to prepare for the rematch. Terry Baker preparing to kick off for Toronto to start the second half. Lucas on the return, and Lucas is brought down as he gets up to the 30-yard line by Carlos Fowler. That was an 11-yard run back for Lucas. Statistically, this was the first half story. Not much to choose between the two in terms of net yards. San Antonio with 191, the Argos with 158. Surprisingly, the time of possession showed the Argos with an edge. Tonio Bilovich is the injured Toronto player, and boy, the injury problems have been really a concern today for Toronto, and it's the knee they are looking at. And head coach Bob Obilovich can only shake his head and wonder how many more injuries his team will have to sustain before this one is over. They can't lose starting players like Tiggle, like Vershavel, and perhaps Obilovich.
That's also the same knee that he had surgery on last season, and his season was cut short. And you can see him, the trainer right there, working on it, trying to find out the extent of the problem that Tony is going through right now. But they're bringing the cart out on the field, so it may be very serious, the problem with Tony's knee.
That's not a good sign when they bring the card out, as they just have here at Skydome for Tony Obilovich. And with Obilovich going out, that means that Joe Sardo is going to be pressed into full-time duty at a linebacking position. Calvin Tiggle's backup, Jermaine Younger, is already in the ball game. And Peter Miller may also get some work. Miller is in there right now as they make some adjustments with their linebacking contingent. Boy, that's a tough blow when Tiggle and Obilovich both go out.
Well, just as the defense started to spark and play well, you have this mass of injuries here, and you're losing two linebackers. It's very tough.
Well, on Friday, Speedy Blue Jays baseball on CBC features the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays. It was interesting. A number of the San Antonio Texans out on the field well before the game, asking where home plate was at the Skydome. A couple of players said they'd like to get a bat in their hands and see if they could knock one out.
A little easier said than done.
Saunders, the ball carrier, and he will get maybe 7, maybe 8 yards, stopped by Don Wilson.
Well, San Antonio had a lot of success on the ground in the first half, and with the Argonauts losing 2 of their starting linebackers, you can expect for them try to ground it out a little more here in the second half and run some time off the clock in maintaining this lead.
At the Argo bench, they're closely examining the injured left knee of linebacker Tonio Bilovich. While on the field, the Texans look for a first down, and over the middle, it's Taylor taking the catch up to the 53-yard line before he was caught by Maurice Kelly for a 15-yard gain.
Well, Maurice Kelly has been having problems all night long with Kittrick Taylor. Came into this game with only 6 receptions on the season, but working against Maurice Kelly, he's giving him too much of a cushion, that time on the quick slant inside. Taylor was able to pick up another first down and keep the ball marching down the field for San Antonio.
First and 10 as Taylor and Gamble come out of the ball game. Little swing pass intended for Saunders, and it was knocked down by Jeff Cummins. Cummins used his size to advantage. He's 6'6", 270 pounds, and he reached up and batted down the throw by David Archer.
Well, you see him at the top of your screen as he's coming across, working against Bundenberg. This time he gets his hands up. This is what you teach the defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, don't give him a clear passing lane. That time Cummins played it perfectly.
Cummins last year spent time with Las Vegas, was acquired by Toronto in the dispersal draft. 4 receivers to the right. Archer looks over the middle, and Hess could not hang on. Al Archer comes off shaking his head. So does Hess, because Archer delivered the ball and Hess was wide open.
Well, it was a perfectly designed pick route that time as he was delivering the ball to Hess. He got a great pick from one of the receivers, Lucas, coming across on Joe Fuller as he was trying to keep up with Hess, and Hess dropped the pass and the official missed the pick on Fuller.
Fuller was complaining to the official, but when he saw the ball lying on the turf, he stopped complaining.
You'll let that one go every now and then if it's an incompletion.
2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. As San Antonio prepares to punt on third down, the pinball is the lone man back. Pressure right up the middle. Penalty flag as Jordan went down after the kick, hit by Cummins.
Big guys normally don't expect to come that clean up the middle. Cummins came through clean, and one of the things they do, the defensive linemen do not learn, is how to lay out in front of the kicker and go for the block point. He went after the kicker instead of the ball. You get a clean shot of it right here. He went straight at the kicker, came up with the penalty. San Antonio keeps their offense on the field.
Contacting the kicker takes the ball down to the 47 of the Argos. But you talked about the block point. There are certain players in the CFL who have had so much skill in anticipating exactly where the block point was going to be and getting a hand in there. I can think of Rod Hill, for one, who did an exceptional job.
To me comes Matt Goodwin right off the bat.
Absolutely. This is Troy Mills running for close to a first down before he's knocked down by Younger and Don Wilson.
One of the things that a lot of defensive players would do after they make a mistake is they just don't get back involved in the play. Cummins allowed Mills to get around the corner. Younger was coming from his middle linebacker position, but that's a long ways to run on a CFL field, and he's been very busy tonight covering on specialty teams, punt return, kickoff return, kick covering, punt covering.
Kralik was shaken up early in the football game. He's back out there now as Hess comes off to the bench. Troy Mills, the ball carrier, he drives straight ahead for a gain of about 7, stopped by Joe Sardo.
Don, one of the advantages that the American teams possess over the Canadian teams when they decide that they just want to play smash mouth football and run the ball down your throat is the size and mobility of their offensive lines, as it was evident 2 nights ago in Hamilton and tonight here at Skydome. They average over 300 pounds across the front, but they're very mobile. When San Antonio / Sacramento first came into the league, they looked for size. This year they've gone more mobility with their offensive linemen.
twin sets to either side of the field. The pass for Taylor, and Taylor will get the first down, and he'll take it inside the 20. Stopped there by Tommy Henry. They didn't throw to Kittrick Taylor much in the first half, but in this second half, he's been a favorite target of quarterback David Archer.
Well, one of the things receivers will do when they come back to the huddle, they will constantly say that I'm open. I got this man beat.
Yeah, but they all say that all the time.
All of them want the ball, but Kittrick Taylor came back to the huddle and told David Archer that. And Maurice Kelly has just given too much of a cushion from his left cornerback position. 4 times he's gone in that direction and gotten a completion on every pass.
This time, Taylor lines up on the left side. Fake handoff to Stock down the right side. Wide open is Saunders. Touchdown in the end zone. A nice fake on the handoff to Stock. And Saunders found himself all alone in the end zone for his second touchdown of the ball game.
Just a beautiful play fake and execution by David Archer. He had the misdirection going. It looked like they were going to come with the reverse. Saunders with the fake. Stock came around, circle out of the backfield on Miller, up the right sideline. Touchdown once again, San Antonio.
Well, that's where the Argos are suffering, with the second stringers in at the linebacking position as the result of the injuries. They don't have the experience. The point after by Roman Anderson. And it's now a 31-13 ball game. San Antonio leading with 10:15 remaining in the third quarter here at Skydome.
The BF Goodrich TA Performance Radio now gives you more performance than ever. Thanks to up-to-the-minute G-Wedge technology, it delivers exceptional road handling control in even the tightest turns. The BF Goodrich TA Radio. Nothing stops it from performing. Well, almost nothing.
CFL is giving away $1,000 in groceries every day. Turn to 1410 a.m. tomorrow morning, 7:15, for your chance to win $1,000 in IGA groceries. Put it on your shopping list. $1,000 in groceries from 14 CFL.
They say all good things must come to an end. I guess that's true. Galleria Designs is closing forever. 2 huge floors of quality contemporary furniture going for a song, up to 70% off. Galleria Designs, 950 Homer, downtown Vancouver.
They're even better broken in.
Iowa product Mike Saunders hasn't scored many easier touchdowns in his CFL career than the one he just took into the end zone.
Well, they're very happy to have Saunders here. After playing last 3 seasons in Saskatchewan, becoming a free agent, San Antonio was able to pick him up, and they're very pleased.
Coleman will take the ball at the 12-yard line. He needs a block. He got one, but he needed another. He got it back to the 43-yard line, a 31-yard return. He did a good job of following his blocking coming up the left side of the field.
Don, you know, with Saunders and Mills in the San Antonio backfield, this is the first team in CFL history that has ever had 2 1,000-yard rushes from the same season. If you see Tonio Bilovich headed towards the locker room, that is a very sore injury for the Toronto Argonauts. They're now forced to go with a second unit linebacking core, and that's what San Antonio took advantage of in that last possession of the football, leading to a touchdown.
With Graves continuing at quarterback, there are 4 starters for the Argos out of the football game. The pinball will try and get things rejuvenated, and he'll have a first down crossing midfield. Willie Fears was able to catch Mike Clemens from behind, and he's a little slow in getting up, but apparently he's okay.
The little man puts so much effort into every play that he carries the football. He never stops churning, never stops looking for an opportunity to make someone miss and pick up extra yardage, fighting through tacklers before being drugged down by Willie Fears up at midfield.
Most valuable player in the Canadian Football League in 1990, 3,300 combined yards. Number 4 in that category this year. He takes it to the 45 of San Antonio. A 9-yard gain, stopped by Morris Miller.
You talk about him, Don, being number 4 in all-purpose yards in the CFL. Pinball has not been used to the excess that he was when he set the record of over 3,300 all-purpose yards in the CFL for a single-season record. The Argonauts have found ways not to keep him involved in the offense. And when you have a weapon of that caliber, you want him to touch the ball 20 to 25 times a game if you want to be successful with your offense.
Pinball, however, appears as though he may be hurting just a little as the Argos get set on this second and short situation. And Graves is going to throw. He's looking deep for Masadi. And Masadi was in a fight, trying to work his way into the end zone. He complains that Frank interfered with him, but there was no penalty flag. The fans thought there should have been an infraction. So does Bob Obilovich think that a flag should have flown.
Well, if you're going to pick on a defensive back, Malcolm Frank is not the defensive back that you want to pick on versus San Antonio. He is their best cover man. He had the inside position. Graves should have thrown that one over the outside shoulder. He threw it more to the post. Mazzotti was not allowed back inside by Frank. Perfect coverage by the defense.
And now on 3rd and 1. Graves will give to the Pinball, who goes up over the top for the first down. That's always a good call on 2nd and short when you're in the opposition end of the field. Try and air it out into the end zone. Often you'll catch them not expecting that type of play.
Well, that's a play you don't see as much as you used to. And as you said, a great play call. Marvin Graves came with the play fake. Everyone was submarining, trying to stop the run. All of a sudden, he was up top. Just a poorly thrown ball.
The Pinball has carried 9 times for 55 yards in this game and has caught 3 passes for 27 more.
Well, he was averaging 6 yards a carry coming into this game, so he's right on track to stay up at that average.
Out of the shotgun from the 44, the first down play. Graves looked to his left, now throws deep to the right. Touchdown! Masani's first of the year. He was denied by Malcolm Frank earlier. This time he beat Frank in the battle on the other side of the field.
That's one of the things that Marvin Graves brought to the Argonauts last year when they signed this young man out of Syracuse University. Look at the time by his offensive line. He feels no pressure. He's able to look left, look off the coverage, man-to-man backside with Mazzotti on Franks. The free safety could not get across. Perfectly thrown ball by Graves. 6 points, Argos.
And Masadi holds for Terry Baker as he adds the extra point. And it's a 31-20 game now with 7:05 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Twice earlier this year, Mazzotti dropped balls when he was heading to the end zone. Not this time.
G'day, BC. I've come here to Long Beach to teach you guys how to surf. Let's go surfing! It's cold. It's cold. The water's a little chilly. Do I care? I am not ready. Don't hurry up, my dude. These guys, they deserve your respect. Bad weather, great surf. No, I am not getting in the water because it's too cold. You're a loser. Trust me, I know. Coconut, pure refreshing taste, straight from the Kootenays.
Hi, I'm Ramona Marr.
And I'm Dave Cameron.
For many of us, parenthood's uncharted territory.
Babies don't arrive with operating manuals.
Well, help has finally arrived.
Spilled milk.
Spilled milk will cover all the parenting issues. Discipline, bedtime.
Nutrition, playtime, not to mention playtime for parents as well.
Do we need it?
Spilled milk, it's not a kid's show. It's a show for parents like you and me.
Spilled milk is about parenting from the trenches.
Real life, real diapers, real spills.
Brought to you in part by Today's Parent magazine.
Journalism that's compelling and innovative.
There's international, national, and we're known for our local coverage.
The I-Team, the Action Line, Journalism 101, Talkback Live, people talking to people.
There's the news at 6, there's the weather, there's the sports, and of course there's News Final at 11.
We don't just talk about this, we go out and do it. I think we deliver.
The CBC Evening News with Kevin Evans and Gloria Makarenko, weeknights at 6.
surprising, even though Acadia product Paul Massotti leads the Argos in touchdowns. That's his first score, or in receptions, I should say. That's his first score of the year.
Well, it's his first score, and it couldn't have came at a better time with the Argos here in a dogfight with the San Antonio Texans here at Skydome, keeping the crowd in this game and picking the Argos up once again after San Antonio had gone down and scored that touchdown. Now they have to find that defensive stand, Don. They got to get themselves back in this game completely.
11 points the difference, the same margin at the half. This is Lucas on the return. Ball comes loose. Who's got it? Baltimore recovered.
San Antonio. Mike Saunders comes in. That's okay. You did that game 2 nights ago. I'm here to help you.
I was thinking Baltimore, and a remark that Kay Stevenson had made on the kickoff. He said if they could play Baltimore now, he thinks the outcome would be different than in the second and third week of the season when they lost both games.
But great hustle once again by Younger, that middle linebacker from Utah State, coming down, jarring Lucas of the football. Watch Younger as he comes in from the right of your screen, as he puts that shoulder right on the football, knocks it loose, but Saunders hustling, recovers the loose ball.
1st and 10 from the 25. Archer has Saunders wide open. Joe Fuller forces him out of bounds, but not before he gets to the 25-yard line. A 60-yard gain, and that's the way to come right back after the opposition scores a touchdown.
Don, Coach Obilovich alluded to it earlier. When you had to replace your linebackers, you see Saunders right here. Sardo is right out here trying to cover him. He's going to come out of the backfield, and there's no way that Sardo can run with Saunders. There's no chance. There's a foot race. Saunders will win that every time. San Antonio has the ball at the 24-yard line.
6:18 remaining in the third quarter. 31-20 is the score. This is Troy Mills going wide, getting a first down, and then forced out of bounds at the 6-yard line. To make it the 8-yard line, they rule that as the spot where he went out of bounds, and there's also a penalty flag, a late call. It could be rough play against the Argos.
Some frustration, Don, you know, after coming back, getting the touchdown from Mazzotti, coming up on the next play, giving up the big play to Saunders.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 20, first down.
Jeff Cummins has to come across the line of scrimmage and make Mills turn up inside to give his middle linebacker Younger a chance to make the play on the running back. If he has to chase him from sideline to sideline with the speed in the San Antonio backfield, it's a losing foot race all night long for the Argos.
First and goal from the 4-yard line for San Antonio. Saunders and Mills, the two setbacks. Pass for Mills, incomplete, but there's a penalty flag. Henry was defending against Mills. Did he interfere with him?
He was beat, and he just grabbed on because it was 6, and he figured make him line up at the 1, try it over again. You get a shot of Henry right there holding on to Mills, not allowing him to get out into his route.
Forward pass interference, Toronto number 6, first down.
The misdirection has confused the Argos defense all night long. The place making and hiding of the football by David Archer, and the Argonauts have not got a clean read, and he's been taking advantage of it.
First and goal. This time it's Mills, and Mills goes up and over for the major score.
He went into the end zone, actually, Don, without the football. They signaled a touchdown, but he fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line.
The officials raised their arms indicating the major score, but did he have the football when he crossed the line?
He lost the football at the 1-yard line. We should get a replay of that, and you'll see a clean shot of it. But the Argonauts had a great defensive surge to separate Mills from the football, gave him the touchdown.
There were some suggestions that Kay Stevenson leveled accusations that officials in the CFL favored the Canadian teams. Bob Obilovich tonight might suggest it's just the reverse.
Well, I think that Bob would be lobbying for that.
Roman Anderson with the point after. And the Texans come right back to counter the touchdown scored by Masadi.
Well, that was a very questionable call at the goal line because Mills seemed to have lost the football. We'll get a good overhead shot of it right here. Watch Mills as he goes up over the top, and he loses the ball as he's hit by Maurice Kelly. He falls into the end zone, but the ball is laying at the 1-yard line. Watch at the bottom of your screen as Maurice Kelly comes in, puts the helmet on the football. Mills is in the end zone, but players are scrambling for the football in the field of play. Younger, the middle linebacker, coming over the top, coming in on the backside of it, but Mills was hit by Kelly, and a very questionable touchdown scored by the Texans.
However, Troy Mills wasn't about to argue with the call as he accepts congratulations on the bench for his second touchdown of the football game.
And his fifth since joining the team 3 weeks ago.
38-20 now. The Texans lead with 5:12 remaining in the third quarter. This has been a high-scoring weekend in the CFL. It all began with the 56-46 win by Birmingham over Ottawa on Friday night. Pat Coleman takes the kickoff at the 20-yard line. This man doesn't need much room. Provide him with a bit of a seam, and with his speed, he'll take the ball upfield, and he brings it back to the 45-yard line.
We're going to get one more look at that controversial Mills touchdown as we see Maurice Kelly comes in from the bottom. Look at the football when he crosses the end zone. He's in the end zone, but the ball is still in the field of play. We'll get a shot of it right here. Very questionable call by the officials.
Was his elbow down on the turf, though, when the ball came loose?
Gotcha.
Go. Reed.
Graves gives to Clemens. Clemens breaks a couple of tackles and struggles forward and might have a first down. You just can't say enough about Mike Clemens. 5'6" and 170 pounds, and the effort he puts out on every play as he comes limping back to the huddle.
Well, when you talk about desire, you can't describe the size of it because at Mike Clemens, it comes in about a 5'5" package. Any coach starting a football team would love to go out and get 24 players with the heart and the desire of a Michael Pinball Clemens, because he is not only an inspirational leader, but he is the hustling leader of this Argonaut football club. And if the rest of the players wearing blue played with the enthusiasm of a Mike Clemens, they wouldn't be in the disarray that they've been in this season.
A very popular individual in Toronto, lending his support to a number of off-season activities. And the Argos are looking at 2nd and inches at midfield. Graves with a good fake inside again. Same play as he looks deep for Masadi. He's got it. On his touchdown, he beat Frank. This time he beat both Frank and Will Height.
Paul Mazzatti, this is only desire. You got double coverage, and he came down and he wanted the football. He went up and challenged both defensive backs. Marvin Graves, and you have Frank here, and Will Height is going to come from his side. Mazzatti's going to come up the middle. Perfect pass by Marvin Graves with the play fake to Pinball Clemens. Mazzatti goes up, catches the ball at his highest point. The Argonaut once again driving.
The Argos' first and goal. The ball is at the 8-yard line. Graves looks to the end zone for Masadi, incomplete. Masadi complains to the official, and so does Graves, that he was interfered with in the end zone. And I think Paul Masadi may have a case. It looked as though he was clearly bumped by Malcolm Frank.
One of the things the defender has to do is let a receiver run his route. Paul Mazzatti seemed to have a clear flight towards the football. The defender jumps up right in his path, knocks him off stride. The ball was in the air.
2nd and goal. 2:57 remaining in the third quarter. Pressure from the backside. The pass incomplete. It was intended for Clemens. There's a penalty flag. This could be a roughing the quarterback call against David Harper.
Well, the ball was clearly let go by Marvin Graves. Michael Clemens was making an effort for the football when Graves was lowered.
Major foul, roughing the passer. San Antonio, number 58. First down.
Harper may have been a little frustrated. He thought for a moment that he had a clear path to the quarterback as he came off his rush end position.
Well, not often do you get a clean shot, but David Harper came into this game. He had been one of the real bright spots on San Antonio's defense. Now he's cost his team where they would have had the Argonauts in a 2nd and 9. They have a 1st and goal at the 4.
Hand off to Clemens. He was tripped up as he got down to about the 3-yard line. Gerhardt may have got a hand on Clemens, and then he tripped over Giaskis, who was pulling out to block for him, trying to lead the way into the end zone.
Great penetration by Gerhardt, coming across, forcing Giaskis to stop shorter than what he wanted to do and getting around the corner. Knocked him off stride, and Pinball Clemens slipped over his leg.
Gerhardt is another of those players we have seen develop over the last few years in the CFL. An undersized linebacker, basically a defensive back playing a linebacking position. Clemens again trying to bounce inside, but he's going to be stopped at the 1-yard line. He zigs and zags. You're never sure which way he's going.
Well, David Harper that time zigged and zagged with Pinball Clemens as Pinball tried to break it back inside. Just the size advantage that Harper had over Pinball did not allow him, along with middle linebacker Maurice Miller, to come up and make the tackle at the 1, and the Argonauts must go for it on 3rd and 1.
3rd down gamble by Toronto. Graves will keep. He's got the touchdown. .26 the score now. The first touchdown of the season for Marvin Graves. Kent Austin offers his congratulations. He was the starter until he went out with the chin injury and perhaps more in the collision with the 2 San Antonio players late in the 2nd quarter. In this 3rd quarter, the teams have scored touchdowns every time they've had the football. Masadi will pin it now for Terry Baker for the point after, and it's 38-27. Again, an 11-point ball game, the same difference as there was at the half.
Ever want to be part of a freewheeling football game? Well, now you can by playing the BF Goodrich TA Freewheeling Football Contest. Just watch the CFL on CBC starting September 9th. Answer a freewheeling football question, and you could win free wheels. One of 15 sets of 4 BF Goodrich TA tires. And you'll be eligible for our grand prize, a freewheeling trip for 4 to the Grey Cup, including flights, hotels, cash, and more. Play BF Goodrich TA Freewheeling Football. It's fun, it's football, and it's free.
I'd like to introduce you to Fantasy 5, the new Scratch and Win lottery ticket. Fantasy 5 gives you 5 scratch games on each ticket with a top prize of $50,000. Fantasy 5, such a beautiful name. So please, please don't come in and point and say, give me one of those. No, 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 no. Ask for it by name. I mean, would it kill you? I don't think so. A Fantasy 5, please. All right? Oh, yes, can I help you?
Give me one of those.
I beg your pardon. Do you mean a Fantasy 5?
Yeah, one of those.
No. Fantasy 5?
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Native Canadians have had to cope with decades of forced adoption into white families.
They ship them out for our children to be abused emotionally, sexually.
I guess it's somebody who's been lost for a lot of years.
Now, many Native groups want those children back.
We're merely trying to bring that child home to where it belongs.
Whose child is this? Tuesday night at 8 on Witness.
While Kent Austin has put together impressive passing numbers in the CFL,
Go linebacker blitz. Read safe. If safety leaves, be patient, hit pinball, second level. He doesn't really run anything. If safety hangs, you're going to put Paul and Jeff to the switch side. You get Rosati on the switch route, all right?
And he is passing on some of his knowledge from that success in the CFL to his backup, Marvin Graves, who apparently is going to continue as the quarterback for the balance of this football game. There's a penalty flag back in the vicinity of the 25-yard line, and this kick return by Lucas will likely be called back, a 29-yard run back.
Well, Marvin Graves and Ken Austin, two quarterbacks that have to work very tightly together. You'll see Marvin Graves with that surge by his offensive line. They reestablished the line of scrimmage. It's nice to see the Argonauts playing with some fire and enthusiasm. Obilovich on the sideline along with 90. Quarterback Ken Austin showing some excitement, and Obilovich showing some relief with his team scoring once again.
I was going to say, that's excitement for Obi?
I was doing it reverse.
Relief for Obi, I guess, that they put it in the end zone, as you suggested. Most of the emotion Obi has shown this afternoon and this evening is perhaps frustration with some of the calls that he thinks have not been made. Penalty flag. Pass complete over the middle to Saunders, and he's caught from behind.
Well, that's in the area of offsides or illegal motion. One of the things Bob Obilovich has done, got offside with the Argonauts, is that he's taken off the headsets. Former coach Mike Farragelli wore the headsets the entire game. Some of the players felt that he wasn't involved enough in the game plan, that he was too involved in the game plan. He did not allow the assistant coaches to do their job. Coach Obilovich has come back, not wearing the headset, allowing the assistant coaches to do their job. And
offside, Toronto number 75, first down repeated.
And that's a way to find out if your coaching staff has been doing his job, to see the performance of the players on the field. Joe Moss right there, the defensive line coach, longtime Argonaut assistant, with Bob Obilovich in his first run here in the early 80s with the Argonauts, and now he's back again here in the 90s.
And Dennis Meyer, another assistant coach with the Argos, like Joe Moss, has also been a head coach in the CFL. So they have a wealth of coaching experience on the Argos side of the field, CFL coaching experience.
And with Ken Austin on the offensive side of the ball, it's like having another assistant coach on the offensive side with him at quarterback. You see Younger, who's been involved very much in the action since entering the game for the Argonauts defense. When you talk about players of the game, his name has to rank high up there on the list.
He is a definite contender. This should be the final play of the third quarter. Saunders gets the call, and Younger gets into the play to make the tackle. He just reached out with one hand. Amazing strength displayed by Younger as he hauled Saunders down on a second down play on the final play of the third quarter at Skydome, with the Texans leading by 11.
Water runs right through this strainer. But watch, not a drop comes through when it's sprayed with leak sealer. Spray leak sealer on a window screen. Look, not enough air comes through to blow out a match. If energy bills are draining your budget, leak sealer can save you big money. If outside air is blowing through your window frames, leak sealer stops it instantly, and you can paint right over it. Use leak sealer to stop basement seepage, and save up to 30% by preventing heat and cold from escaping from conduits or around air conditioners. For gutters that pour in a rainstorm, save an expensive soldering job. It's easy to stop air leaks through access holes in your RV, trailer, or truck. For roof and flashing leaks, don't call a repairman. Use Leak Sealer. Leak Sealer is guaranteed to pay for itself or return to place of purchase for full refund.
Available at participating Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, Pro Hardware, Do-It Centers, True Value Hardware, Beaver Lumber, Co-op stores, and Zellers.
The BF Goodrich TA Performance Radio now gives you more performance than ever. Thanks to up-to-the-minute G-Wedge technology, it delivers exceptional road handling control in even the tightest turns. The BF Goodrich TA Radio. Nothing stops it from performing. Well, almost nothing.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by B.F. Goodrich TA. Performance. Serious performance.
Kay Stevenson, the San Antonio coach, just sent a message up to the press box. He asked me, is this really the reincarnation of James Curry, the guy wearing 74 for Toronto?
Well, Coach O'Billovich spoke about needing someone in this lineup to add some spark defensively and offensively, and Jermaine Younger has stepped up the tempo defensively the way Mike Clemens has stepped it up on the offense, and he's a heck of a young ball player.
2nd and 7. The pass over the middle is complete. That should be a first down at the 41-yard line. Stock on the receiving end of the throw. He's been kind of the go-to receiver over the middle in clutch situations for San Antonio on 2nd down plays.
Well, Kay Stevens had alluded to that they had upgraded their receiving core. They said they had some guys who weren't that precision in their route running, and they thought with Stock and Hess running the wideouts that they had the receiving core that they had been looking for the past couple of seasons to work with David Archer at quarterback.
The way these teams moved the ball up and down the field in the 3rd quarter, they almost doubled their first half statistics. Troy Mills, the ball carrier, takes it out to the 48-yard line. 90 rushing yards for San Antonio, 82 for the Argos. Mike Pinball Clemens doing the bulk of the work. San Antonio with a 357 net yardage total compared to 285 for the Argos. In time of possession, the Argos have the edge, but they trail by 11 points with 14 minutes remaining.
And the Argonauts have another player down, Leon Haciano, and once again, they're looking at that knee area. How many Argonauts can they be forced to lose tonight? I mean, this has been a travesty for them, Don.
It has certainly been a tragic evening for the Argos here at Skydome as far as injuries go. And all Bob O'Billovich can do is wonder how much longer can this go on.
I will not feel shame. You're in, man.
Annihilate that bastard.
I live under the sun and the moon.
I'm his neighbor.
Who's gonna pick up the pieces?
Whose side are you on?
And again, they bring out the cart to assist Leon Haciano in leaving the field. He was having an outstanding season for Toronto, playing a defensive tackle position. As I mentioned earlier, 4 sacks so far this season. That equals his total for his previous CFL career with Ottawa and Winnipeg. 3 times Haciano went to a Grey Cup game with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So Noah Kander will come in as his backup. He wears number 97. Kander had his first game in the CFL on the 14th of August. But he now is going to be pressed into a starting role, replacing Leon Haciano. Kander played his college football at St. Mary's, was a draft pick of the Argos. Big hole for Mills. Mills gallops to the outside. Burke manages to take him out of bounds, but not before Mills carried the ball down to the 32-yard line for a gain of 30.
And Don, not to take away from the great effort by Mills as we see Leon Haciano on the sideline, but this is one of the major concerns of the coaches in the CFL now with the ratios such as it is. Once you get a Canadian starter injured, you're forced to come in with a backup who hasn't played that much. As we see Mills on that lead play as he gets through the line of scrimmage, just where Haciano had gone out of and been replaced in the lineup, that's where they attacked.
Mills has carried 12 times for 114 yards. He gets the call again. There is also a penalty flag in the play, tossed into the San Antonio backfield. That usually means holding.
Well, holding, but not soon enough for the Argonauts. And now, you know, not only with this game have the Argonauts been forced into
San Antonio number 62. Repeat first down.
Adjustments, but now they'll have to even contend with next week as it comes up. how will they find players to replace the players that they've lost due to injuries? Because the way these players have gone down, and especially Haciano, the way they're observing him on the sideline, he won't be back next week. You hate to see that, but you've also lost Teagle. You lost Obilovich at linebacker. Those are huge holes to fill for this defense.
They travel over to Hamilton to play the team they usually face in the Labor Day battle, the Ticats. They get them next Saturday, and they'll be an injured football team traveling down the QEW. The pass over the middle is complete for a first down for Myron Wise. I believe that's his first catch of the day, and a gain of 24.
Well, David Archer's just been a surgeon tonight working against this Argo secondary. He really hasn't got that much pressure from the Argonaut front four, and he's had the time to sit up and let Wise, Stock, Taylor, Hess, Kralik, the rest of that receiving core find the seams in those routes and pick up adequate yardage on each pass.
Archer has really spread the ball around. He's used all of his receivers as they have been rotated in and out of the lineup. Kralik started the game, was hurt early. He was the man that Archer was attempting to find on a hitch screen. There was also a penalty flag in the play.
Well, Kralik had suffered bruised ribs in the first half and was having some trouble breathing. Went to the locker room for some medical attention. Now he's back in the game, and he seems to be back at full speed.
Thrown to number 74. Repeat first down.
Younger, a little anxious on the blitz right there, got into that neutral zone.
Kralik was the leading San Antonio receiver coming into this game. He had 31 catches, 13 of them in a game against Edmonton. Look at that. 5 starters out of the ball game with injury. Mills bounces off a couple of tackles, continues to drive straight ahead. Carlos Fowler finally brought him down. He's going to be very close to a first down, depending upon the spot.
Don, you know, you talk about the 5 injured Argonauts that are out of the lineup. 2 of those players are going to be very, very hard to replace. Pierre Vercheval along with Leon Haciano. It is very difficult in the CFL to go out and find quality Canadian offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Leon Haciano we see being assisted onto the cart, but Pierre Vercheval went out in the first half. Now Coach Obilovich is going to be really pressed to go out and fill those holes in his lineup within the next 3 or 4 days.
Well, this is what Canadian coaches complain about. The uneven playing field. The third down gamble produces a first down. They have to be concerned about their import, non-import ratio, while those coaching south of the border can simply put their best 37 players on the field.
Well, Dan Ferrone is president of the CFLPA, and I think that's an issue that he really needs to sit down and address. It's not a matter of removing the Canadian players from the CFL, but it's allowing the fans the opportunity to see the best talent available, and I think the fans truly deserve that. No one is knocking the Canadian talent in the CFL, but if it can play, those players will play. It shouldn't be a forced situation.
Saunders looking for the end zone again. He won't get there. He was bounced out of bounds by Jermaine Younger.
I've really been impressed with Jermaine Younger from his middle linebacker position. Well, that number 74 just draws back fond memories. But as he roams across the field, showing great pursuit angle and burst once he gets to the back to be able to explode and drive Saunders out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
The guy wearing 74 now has much better pursuit than the guy who used to wear it ever had. This one was almost picked off by Wilson, and had he been able to grab it, he was gone. Don Wilson realizes that in letting the ball slip through his fingers, he missed an opportunity to score a touchdown. He's going to look up at the Jumbotron to watch a replay of this one.
Well, Don Wilson took one of those back. You'll see him here in the corner. David Archer's going to come back. He's going to lock on his primary receiver. Wilson, being the cagey veteran that he is, reads Archer's eyes, makes a perfect break on the ball. And there was 108 yards away, but Don just couldn't pull it in.
Roman Anderson with a 13-yard field goal attempt. And he's virtually automatic this season. His second field goal of the game increases the advantage to 41-27.
Gotta go.
Forgetting something, huh?
Oh. Mwah.
Oh, thanks. But I meant the phone bill.
Paid it.
Not that phone bill. The other phone bill. You know, from our new long-distance company?
Oh, yeah, your idea.
Come on. What do you say?
I don't think so.
Oh, we're out of stamps. Fine. Fine.
Nice try, though.
I thought so.
I shopped around a lot, and the Honda Accord was one of the cars that I looked at, but I fell in love with the Ford Contour because it's exhilarating to drive. When I say to my family and friends, ooh, it's got a Duratec engine, everybody's like, oh, really? The best kind of driving would be bright sunshine to somewhere fun. With the Contour, it's like, oh, it's only an hour and a half.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by BC Tel. We make saving simpler with Real Plus.
Roman Anderson has only missed 3 kicks all season. One of them at Taylor Field in Regina. He also hit a 55-yarder at Taylor Field. And at Taylor Field in Regina, they are familiar with a fellow who is very consistent with field goal kicking.
David Ridgway had the title of robo-kicker. Very consistent throughout his CFL career, but Roman Anderson came into this game out of the University of Houston at a 91% clip on his field goal attempts, and he's only increased that tonight.
A couple of weeks ago, his wife, Melinda, gave birth to a baby boy. The ball came loose on the return, but the Argos managed to get it back. They had the name picked out well before the boy was born. His name is Tully Guy.
Well, you know, ultrasound has taken the thrill out of half a childbirth. It was guesswork. You could get all those gifts, boy and girl presents. Now you get only one, you know. But look at the hit and the hustle by the San Antonio cover team as they just jarred that ball loose, but great hustle at the end of that. And Toronto recovers the ball. Once again, that shot. When you're not accustomed to returning the ball, Morelli has to learn how to wrap up when he sees that contact coming.
Watch the screen!
Hand off to the pinball. The pinball's got a bit of a hole, and then it's closed off, but not before he gets 9. Morris Miller came over from his middle linebacking position.
One of the things that Coach Kay Stevens was very big on is his improved team speed on the defensive side of the ball. And it's been very evident tonight with the return of Maurice Miller from his tryout in the NFL. Only back in the lineup for 2 games, but his presence has been felt. He has been able to control Mike Clemens. He's been able to keep him contained within tackle for tackle.
It's Clemens again. And this time he is contained as he tries to get a first down. It looks as though he's stopped short by Roosevelt Collins.
And Maurice Miller was right back there again, and pinball's a little slow in getting up off the turf. Only about 170 pounds, taking a tremendous pounding tonight. You wonder how much gas can be in his tank.
Well, the fans don't like this decision by Bob Obilovich. He's sending out the punting unit. The spectators at Skydome are of the opinion that the Argos should gamble, trailing by 14 points on 3rd down.
When you only have 2 victories and you're trailing by 14 points with 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, you don't have much to gamble for. You need to take every opportunity that you can trying to pick up yardage and keep your drive alive.
Might they have something like a direct snap to an up back in their playbook?
Well, with the up backs that they have, there might be some backup with all the injuries they've been faced with.
Well, the worst of all possible things happens to the Argos. Baker tries to throw it, and it's intercepted. There's also a penalty flag in the play. Grady Cavness came up with the theft. And we'll sort out the penalties when we return with 8:41 remaining in the game.
G'day, BC. I've come here to Long Beach to teach you guys how to surf. Let's go surfing! It's cold. It's cold. The water's a little chilly. Do I care? I am not ready. Don't hurry up my date. These guys, they deserve your respect. Bad weather, great surf. No, I am not getting in the water. Because it's too cold!
You're a loser.
Trust me, I know.
Coconut. Pure, refreshing taste. Straight from the kootenays.
We took the most comfortable full-size pickup on the road and made it more comfortable. We took the most thoughtful interior on the market and made it more thoughtful. We took the biggest cab in the industry and made it bigger. The new Dodge Ram Club Cab. First we changed the rules, then we stretched them. From Dodge, Canada's truck stop.
Hi, I'm Bruce Steele, host of What on Earth. Every weekday, my guests and I talk about everything from Parcheesi to parenting, travel, finance, growing plants, or funding the arts, love, life, happiness, and other matters of the spirit. It's useful information, good ideas, and it's fun, too. What on Earth? Weekday mornings on CBC television.
The Argos were penalized for having too many men in the field, but the penalty was declined because of the interception by Cavness.
When you saw Terry Baker, it looked like he lost concentration on that ball because he was counting defenders, offensive players that he had on the field, and the ball slipped through, and great break once again for San Antonio.
Rotate!
Four receivers to the left as Archer drops back, looks over the middle for Taylor. He can't hang on. The man who made the interception, Grady Cavness, will bring back memories for football fans in Winnipeg and British Columbia. His father played with both the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the BC Lions back in the 70s.
Well, see, myself, I'm probably only a year or two older than Grady, so I wouldn't remember that now. But once again, David Archer feeling the pressure late from Jeff Cummins. The Argonauts have not had consistent pressure on the San Antonio quarterback tonight, and that has led to much of his success.
Archer for Stock. He's got it. Stock scored a touchdown in the first half, and he puts the San Antonio Texans in scoring position again with a 31-yard reception.
We see Billy Stock as he comes down the field. One of the things quarterbacks do is they figure out that there's an area of the field that they don't want to pick on when they come into a game. Tonight, Mark Stock that time ran a great seam route, got the separation from Don Wilson. Most linebackers can't run with the slots in this league, and Don Wilson, it was evident at that time that he was a stride too slow, and San Antonio was marching once again.
Stock's big game of the year, 8 receptions for 137 yards and a loss to Winnipeg. Troy Mills, the ball carrier, the ball comes loose, and it's recovered by Toronto.
Jermaine Younger once again with the fumble recovery. This young man has played a well of a ball game tonight. He has done all that he can to assist this Argonaut task this evening.
Well, Bob Obilovich talked so glowingly yesterday about Jermaine Younger. He has been on the practice roster all season. He said he would get an opportunity to play in this football game. He didn't know how much, but when Calvin Tiggle went down early, Younger came in, and he has had a whale of a football game, even though the Argos had given up 41 points.
When you talk about a shining player, Jermaine Younger's been a diamond in the rough tonight for the Argos.
Four receivers wide to the right. The pass over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for pinball, and it was broken up by Morris Miller.
One of the things that Marvin Graves is doing tonight is that he's telegraphing his passes. He's been locking in on his primary receiver. We saw Ken Austin earlier talking to the young quarterback on the sideline, giving some tutelage, but Marvin has just not been able to pick up the scheme of things here in the game thus far.
He started the final 5 games of last year for the Argos. He came out of Syracuse. He established 16 of the 31 passing records at the school during his career there. Nowhere near the intended receiver. Coleman is the man that Graves was looking for, but he had Will Height draped all over him. Will Height was initially slated to start the game as a backup to Grady Cavness at an inside halfback position, but they decided to move him to the safety spot instead of Charles Franks.
Once again, Marvin trying to throw back across the grain against his body, and he's overthrowing the receiver. Looks like he had enough room out to the left. If he had kept the ball and ran with it, that he could have picked up the first down quite easily.
6:15 remaining in the football game. And again, there seems to be some confusion on the part of the Argonauts, and this is probably due to the number of injuries they have had and people who play on special teams now out of the ball game with injuries.
Starter number 10.
And Terry Baker did some counting when players were coming in and out of the lineup.
Well, that's what happened, and it was better to take the time count violation, Don, than to have another mistake like they did and lose the ball in a critical point on the field. That was a heads-up play that time by Baker.
Again, a high snap. Lucas takes the ball, tries to go outside, and then is caught by Carlos Fowler and hauled down at the 49-yard line. 5:51 is the time remaining here at Skydome as the Texans continue to lead by 14.
Okay, explain this operator thing again.
Well, our new long-distance company doesn't have operators. So, if you need help, say, getting a call connected...
BC Telus, the one who helps us, not the new one?
Exactly. Anyway, how often do we need help?
Get the most out of summer this winter with Cottage Country. We'll feature great weekend projects, great weekend escapes.
It's a little piece of paradise, and it's where we get to get away from the city and just enjoy it and enjoy ourselves.
And how to spice up an outdoor meal on the barbecue.
Mexican, Miami, spicy thing.
Enjoy the great outdoors on Cottage Country, Saturdays on CBC.
Restricted 18 and under. This is a TV show for teens, by teens, and about teens. This is a program that we made. You can find us Saturday afternoons on CBC.
Saturday. Laughter has become our new national pastime. So pass the time laughing.
Oh, now I know why they're called ball players.
Royal Canadian Air Force, Saturday.
Although the Argos have twice lined up in punt formation in the second half, the last kick by Baker is the first time they have punted the ball, and an injured Toronto team will be limping down the QEW to Hamilton next Saturday to take on the Ticats. Toronto-Hamilton, a traditional Labor Day rivalry. Saskatchewan-Winnipeg, another, and what a hammering the Blue Bombers took at Taylor Field on Sunday afternoon. 56-4 the score there. Those two teams will meet on Sunday in Winnipeg, and we'll have the game for you on CBC television. There was a rough play call against San Antonio after the last punt against Jason Wallace, and that's the reason the ball was back at the 46-yard line from where San Antonio scrimmaged. You know, I talked earlier about some of the wild scores in the CFL this weekend. James, I'll get to that in a moment.
You know, we look at right here as Terry Baker has to go high up in the air for that snap. Pierre Vercheville, who was injured in the first quarter, is the regular snapper for Toronto. And that's overall how injuries really affect the Canadian-based teams. Now, when you have to replace the ball with someone, replace the player with someone who is not accustomed to playing a particular position, you've seen the Argonauts suffer tonight from that.
56-46, Birmingham over Ottawa. Earlier today, 51-26, Calgary over Edmonton, the first half of our Labor Day doubleheader. Baltimore, Saturday night, beat Hamilton 41-14. Yesterday, Saskatchewan whipped Winnipeg 56-4. And Memphis beat Shreveport 31-22. Here we've had 68 points scored, and Fowler is going to bring down Saunders before he can get untracked. It will be a loss of a couple of yards with 4:58 remaining.
It's amazing. The CFL on CBC shows up, and so does all the points along with it. But a great penetration play there by Carlos Fowler to penetrate into the backfield and stop Mike Saunders before he can get up ahead of steam. The Argonauts have had too many of those plays tonight. They need more consistency from their down four.
Time is now the enemy of the Argonauts, particularly with San Antonio in possession of the football. looking for a first down, and Kralik makes a great catch. A diving grab by Kralik at the 20-yard line, and he rolled down to the 18 where they'll spot him. That's the first catch of the ball game for the leading receiver for San Antonio.
Maurice Kelly, this night can't end soon enough for him because he has a long stride and short memory because they just been running past him all night long. I don't know what he's watching, but he is definitely watching the quarterback too long because the receivers are getting behind him too easily.
I like that. Long stride, short memory. You'll remember the 37-yard gain, or will probably be reminded of it by Bob Obilovich. Saunders continues to battle inside the 10-yard line. Stopped there by Swift Birch.
You know, David Archer has had a struggle this season. One of the 4 quarterbacks in CFL history, one of the 3 to pass for over 6,000 yards in a single season, and has had a lot of injuries over the past couple of seasons, but tonight he's back into fine form.
18 for 31 for 379 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And he has been sharp.
He missed 3.5 games earlier this year with a hamstring problem. He gives again to Saunders, and Saunders was met at the line of scrimmage by Swift Birch, but it looks as though he might have the first down.
You know, one of the compliments to David Archer has been the running game, and they've been very solid tonight.
2:54 is the time remaining, and it looks as though Kay Stevenson is going to head home with a CFL victory.
First, there was fire. Now there's Regency, the ultimate gas fireplace. This is a gas fire. Regency has a gas fireplace series that looks like a wood fire. No more chopping wood. Transform your drafty fireplace into a Regency high-efficiency gas heater and enjoy the convenience of gas with the look of a wood fire.
Save up to $200 until September 30th at these and over 80 other BC dealers.
Beware. Launched in the USSR. Rockets. Launched in the USSR. Flying around
what? Hand me the sacred spice, mutant.
Take it, but leave my ultravision goggles. I cannot survive without them.
So you want to live in a comic book?
Greetings, puny mortals.
Welcome to the Comic Zone. Slay fiendish villains that get drawn back in page by hellish page. You'll feel right at home.
From the darkness of the oven, the slain beast.
We will live another day.
Comic Zone, only for Sega Genesis.
Kay Stevenson told me yesterday that he really wished he could play Baltimore now rather than as they did in the second and third week of the season when they lost 50-24 and 28-23. He says, we're a much improved football team, and I think we could beat Baltimore now. Right now, though, his concern is with this third down gamble against the Argos. They lead 41-27 and could put it away here, and Troy Mills will pick up the first down, driving to the 3-yard line. With Troy Mills returning to the lineup, they really have a balanced running game. They can go to Saunders, Mills. They've got Burse as a backup. And the way Archer has spread the ball around in this game, they have a potent passing attack as well.
Well, when you look at the numbers that Saunders and Mills have posted tonight, I mean, as a threesome with Tony Burse, we haven't seen much of him, but they're probably the most talented running back trio in the CFL, even more so than what Baltimore possesses, because Mike Pringle carries the bulk of the mail down there.
That's not a bad group, though. Drummond and Tui Pelotu to complement Pringle. Here's the pass into the end zone for a touchdown to Saunders. His second receiving touchdown of the night. David Archer pads his totals with this nice little lob to Mike Saunders.
And one of the things Tommy Henry committed because San Antonio had been running the ball so well, and when David Archer came with the play fake because the running game has been so solid for San Antonio this evening, Saunders was able to circle out of the backfield to the left. David Archer led him perfectly. Touchdown once again, San Antonio.
He's doubled his total as a pass receiver in tonight's football game. This is going to be a pleasant charter flight home for the San Antonio Texans, and they will enjoy the bye week in the CFL coming off this impressive victory and getting ready again for the Toronto Argonauts on the 16th of September. That game, by the way, will be seen on CBC television.
Well, this is a team, Don, that made the move from Sacramento in his first 2 CFL seasons. The inaugural CFL American-based franchise. They moved to San Antonio, Texas, where things are done on a grand scale in the state of Texas, and people have been somewhat slow in embracing the team. It's sort of like a show-me situation, because in the city of San Antonio, they've had the United States Football League, and I think with this impressive showing by the San Antonio Texans tonight, the fans in that city will start to believe that this team is for real with this outburst, and now all the players are playing as one. The offense has responded. The defense is starting to pick up the slack, and they're over 500 here just past the halfway point in the CFL season.
And when you look at their schedule over the final 7 games, they might be in a position to take a run at Baltimore for first place in the Southern Division. The pinball on the return. He got a block from Younger, but then he runs out of room, tries to bring it back the other way, and there's just too much traffic for the pinball to go any further than 22 yards. San Antonio returns home. They have a bye week. They play Toronto on September 16th at the Alamo Dome. Then they get Hamilton on the 23rd. They travel to Ottawa on the 30th of September. They're at Birmingham on the 8th of October, and then 3 in a row at home: Ottawa, Shreveport, and Birmingham.
You know, they're going to have a chance, Don, with this bye week coming up to get healthy. If they had any nicks, they're going to have the players rested and ready to play in 2 weeks.
Graves swings it out to the pinball. Waiting for him is Gerhardt. And with some help, the pinball is brought down at the 44-yard line. Well, dejection is shown in the faces of players on the Argonaut bench. As much for the loss that they are going to suffer, but also the injuries that have taken their toll on this football team as they prepare for next Saturday's game against the Hamilton Ticats, their arch rivals. Jeff Fairholm makes the catch at the midfield stripe for a Toronto first down with 1:40 remaining in the football game.
Bob Obilovich this upcoming week will have to utilize all of his skills. As you see Maurice Kelly on the bench there, this man might have a nickname of Toast by the time the evening is over. But Bob Obilovich is going to have to work magic as a general manager and well as a head coach, because he's going to have to go out and find some bodies to fill some positions on this team for next week's game.
The pinball is another first down, but one thing Obilovich might say is that he has seen some positive things from his offense tonight. Some of the things that were lacking through the first 9 games of the season.
Well, I think the most positive is that they were able to score touchdowns. And when you have an offense that can score touchdowns, you have a chance of winning ball games. But more so, the injuries, I think, negated what they were able to do offensively, because it broke them down on the defensive side of the ball when they lost their 2 starting linebackers.
Graves getting some protection. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Tried to dump it off. Brady Kavnes intercepts. Kavnes had an earlier interception on that mix-up on 3rd down. He couldn't get past Marvin Graves as he was hoping to run to the end zone, and he takes it out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Don, I guess you've seen the father and son scenario of that.
It's been a combination, father and son in the CFL. Grady performing, Grady Jr. that is, for San Antonio. His father with Winnipeg and BC.
Once again, Marvin Graves trying to throw on the move. He's been more successful when he's been the straight drop back pass tonight because he's got the good mechanics. He's got his hips in his throws. When he's throwing off balance, he has a tendency to let the ball float, let the nose of the ball stay up, and once again, he's been forced into a mistake.
A 52-yard return with 55 seconds remaining in the football game as Cavness accepts congratulations. His father was a tough football player as a defensive back. He could lay a hurt on you.
You know, I take your word for most of everything, Don.
That 74 guy got in there a little late. That's reminiscent of the guy who used to wear 74.
He had a nose full of football. I mean, 74 has never stopped hustling. And he is still going from the time he's got into the game to the last whistle blow tonight. Younger. I mean, you have to take your hat off to this young man. He has had a very impressive debut in the CFL. He has given his all for the double blue tonight.
2nd and 10.
Very reminds you a lot of Marvin Pope out in Calgary. Similar build, same type of player.
How about Pope? He scored a touchdown today.
Big Daddy waltzed in.
Took a pass from Jeff Garcia in the 51-26 victory by the Stampeders over the Edmonton Eskimos.
Marvin showing the versatility that he has as an offensive and defensive player. I guess he'll be looking for a two-way contract come next season, a la Deion Sanders.
Obilovich wants a timeout call.
Toronto.
Comes with 18 seconds remaining. 48-27 the score. As these two teams have been very productive on this final game of the Labor Day weekend here at Skydome in Toronto.
Well, it's been a very entertaining game also, Don. When you look at the point total that was put up here tonight, 75 points between these two teams. The Texans coming out on the top end of that score, and they have to be very proud the way their team has come together here in its 3rd season in the CFL and looking for an opportunity at the playoffs, and they have a very solid chance of making it.
Well, in the Southern Division, only the top 3 teams will make the playoffs. 5 will come into the playoffs from the Northern Division, and now the San Antonio Texans, with this victory, will move out of the tie with the Memphis Mad Dogs for 4th place. 3rd place, I should say, in the Southern Division. He started the football game, gave way to Marvin Graves in the 2nd quarter when he was sandwiched between Harper and Gerhardt and suffered a cut on his chin. The Argos are hoping that Kent Austin will be back for the Saturday date down the QEW at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton against the Ticats. But based on the way Marvin Graves has performed in coming on as his replacement, he might get the start.
I think that's one of the things that Obilovich is going to have to look at is the mobility of Graves, and does he want to stick with just a drop-back type of offense that the Argonauts have been put with the first 9 games of the season, or does he want to instill that mobility in his offensive attack?
Time perhaps for 2 plays, depending on what happens here. Taken out of bounds by Morial.
That young man is happy to be able to catch a ball and not have 6 or 7 defenders swarming around him. If you recall, when he tried to return that kickoff, looked like he went through a buzzsaw when he went up in there.
A bit of a family affair as far as Morreale, Sardo, and Massotti are concerned. They're cousins.
The M&S guys, I guess. Well, the Argonauts have been one of those teams to keep a lot of players here from Southern Ontario, trying to improve their fan base, but they've also got some solid players out of doing that.
Sideline pattern to Massotti with 5 seconds remaining. Massotti has had 3 100-yard receiving games thus far this season.
Get a shot at Dwayne Ford there on the sideline, one of those Southern Ontario players, along with Walcott, and Ford scored his first professional touchdown tonight.
And Massotti now has a 4th 100-yard game. That catch took him up to 102. And the snap to Graves on the whistle. There was some movement at the line of scrimmage. Massotti was down on one knee.
Well, I think they should pull out the red flag and wave this one over. There's
The
nothing
white
else.
flag, you mean?
Well, the official normally ends the game with the red flag, but there's nothing else that can be accomplished in this one. There's no need in even running a play.
Well, they are going to run the final play to take the final second off the clock, and Kay Stevenson has to be extremely pleased with the way his team performed tonight. They now have a 6-5 record. David Archer looked very, very sharp, beginning with the opening series of plays when he took the team in for a major score. And Mike Saunders contributed 3 touchdowns in the 48-27 victory, San Antonio over Toronto at Skydome.
Ever want to be part of a freewheeling football game? Well, now you can by playing the BF Goodrich TA Freewheeling Football Contest. Just watch the CFL on CBC starting September 9th. Answer a freewheeling football question, and you could win free wheels. One of 15 sets of 4 BF Goodrich TA tires. And you'll be eligible for our grand prize, a freewheeling trip for 4 to the Grey Cup, including flights, hotels, cash, and more. Play BF Goodrich TA Freewheeling Football. It's fun, it's football, and it's free.
The boppity bop bop.
Are you going to be in there long?
Yes, dear. When you called Lori and got that wrong number, you get a credit for it?
Not yet.
Well, don't rush into it.
I can't
You
get...
just love putting stuff off.
Look, they told me wait for the bill to come, then call back to apply to get the credit.
I see. They're making you wait.
That's right. Just like you are.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by BC Tel. We make saving simpler with Real Plus.
Joel. Welcome back. San Antonio Texans were expecting a squad of Argonauts different from the ones that stumbled for the first half of the season. The Argos were different, but the Riders were better in a 48-27 victory. David Archer dissected the Toronto defense all night long. 19 of 32, 382 yards, and 3 touchdowns, including this one to Mark Stock to make it 21-6. We welcome David Archer back to the broadcast. Hey, you were great as an analyst on Final Sunday for us last November. You know what? You were just as strong on the field today as you were in the booth last year. Was this your best game of the season?
Well, there's no question this is the best game I've played this year, Scott. I think that I appreciate the compliments and being in the booth. I enjoyed it. It's easy to work with a pro like you, but I had a lot of fun out there tonight. We were seeing things. We got a lot of people involved, which is what we haven't done all year long.
I know you were nervous about facing a team after a coaching change. Did the Argos show you anything you didn't expect?
No, they played pretty much the way we expected, and they played inspired. I thought they played well at certain times. Obviously, they broke down in certain areas, but I think that they never gave up, and I think that's a credit to Obilovich and what he did when he came in this week.
Things look good for your team this season. It's not likely you'll suffer the same fate as last year when you narrowly missed the playoffs.
I think we've got the playoffs firmly in our mind, and I think that we're not going to let a little loss here or there interrupt that. We're on a playoff drive right now. We need to take care of business each week.
David, thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, here is how Labor Day doubleheader began for us today. In Calgary, the Stampeders dispatched the Eskimos 51-26 in a classic for at least one team. The San Antonio Texans were a 500 team heading to Toronto. They're leaving one game better than that, 48-27 the final here. This Saturday, we'll have world-class equestrian from Spruce Meadows, the Bank of Montreal Nations Cup. Later that night, the Argos bust down the QEW to face the Cats at Iverwin Stadium. That's the Labor Day Classic, only 5 days late. And on Sunday afternoon, Saskatchewan and Winnipeg complete their home-and-home series. Here at Skydome, the San Antonio Texans win the day. Thanks for watching, and so long.
CBC Sports, home of the champions. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, your Olympic network.
Hi, I'm James Barber, the Urban Peasant. You want something delicious? Follow your nose.